It is Tuesday night on the internet. So, folks, it must be time for Tooney Talk Wrestling, the fastest growing live stream wrestling show on the web today. Folks, my name is Marvin, and I am the Movie Monster, and I am thrilled to be joined by my all-star panel here once more. Joining me, as always, our good friend, Awful Wrestling, with a brand new avatar.
What's going on, fellas? Peace to the chat. Peace to you, Marv. What's happening?
Peace be with you as well, my brother. Nothing really going on, but you know what? We do have our good friend and VTuber extraordinaire, disciplinary committee, aka Dis, joining us here with no cat ears this week. You got the headphones instead?
Yeah, I'm being more professional.
I agree. The cat ears were a little bit much. It was a little too casual Friday for my
right.
taste.
We have Anton. He's a pro. I don't want to look like an idiot in front of him. So.
Correct. Yeah, no. I think you're doing a really good job of looking completely professional.
I also got the Yeet glasses for you. I thought you'd like
Yeah, no, I appreciate that as well. Clearly, it's a big thing that I'm a supporter of. Joining us as always, not as always, actually, once in a while friend who pops in here and there, who we love dearly, the best friend of this channel, ladies and gentlemen, from Pro Wrestle Times and Pro Wrestle Clips. I give you the one and only Phil Marks.
Hola, senors. Hola, senor Dis.
I was muted. Sorry, I was clearing my throat. Hola.
Hola, indeed. Phil, how you feeling today? Are you ready for some exciting wrestling content?
Yes, I'm excited for this, and I'm excited for the guest panelist here today, man. Let's get into this.
All right, folks. Coming to us from the worlds of MMA, he has worked with the UFC. He has worked with Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. Folks, he's a best-selling author. Please welcome to Tooney Talk Wrestling, Ant Evans. Hello, sir.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
I wish I had like a clapping sound effect, but I'm sure the audience is giving you a rousing round of applause.
It's a big thrill to be here because like many fans, I have a giggle at Tony Khan's expense, and I have a little fun at AEW's expense. But it's amazing to be here at the Church of AEW Hate. So I'm privileged to be here with you guys.
Is that what we're known as? Oh, good Lord. Oh, well, you know what? It's funny. I'm in the process of editing this week's Headlock headlines. Probably going to come out tomorrow morning, first thing. Man, it might be our most rated M for mature headlines of all time, with the Tony Khan talking about being a sicko and there's so much.
God bless that man for giving a generation of YouTubers great content. God bless. Not many billionaires share the wealth like that guy.
I agree. You know what they always say? Tony Khan has created so much opportunity for so many people in the pro wrestling industry, myself included. People are always like, "You want AEW to go away?" And I'm like, "What would I do without it?"
It's a little disingenuous to say that we all hate AEW when we have AEW's #1 fan as our producer. Actually,
yeah, that is true. AEW Neckbeard's our producer in the chat. Thank you very much. He's going to be moderating. He's going to be signing in. By the way, Kevin Apollo will be joining us later. The early start time was a little early for him. He's got to, build up his energy and momentum. He is on his way, though, folks. Don't worry. He is coming, though. All of those of you who are here just for Kevin Apollo, don't worry. But, it's not a racism thing that he's not here at the beginning of the show. Don't worry, even though
everything is sexist, everything is racist, everything is homophobic, and you have to point it all out.
Thank you, Anita. I appreciate you. All right, so diving in, Ant, we really wanted to, because we know we got you for about 90 minutes of the show here, so we really wanted to dive into your career, you have got this interesting insight, having been involved in both the pro wrestling and mixed martial arts, involved in the UFC. How did you first get started with, mixed martial arts? How did you delve into that world?
Oh, for my girlfriend who's watching, who's probably the only person who gives a fuck, I worked in boxing first, and I kind of saw the way the wind was blowing. This is in 2005, 2006. I saw the way the wind was blowing. I'd always been a big UFC fan, and I saw a way to kind of jump ship from being a PR guy in boxing. I was lucky enough to work with Ricky Hatton, who got inducted to the the Boxing Hall of Fame this weekend. But I saw a way to kind of jump on the rocket that had all the gasoline. So I saw a way to jump to the UFC. So that's what I did. I became head of PR in the newly created UFC's UK office.
Oh, fantastic.
From there, years later, a few years later, they invited me to come over to America. I did that. I did PR in the UFC in America, and also like Australia, Canada, places like that. And then worked on UFC Fight Pass, which predates the WWE network by I think about 17 days. So
Yeah,
Oh,
I love Fight Pass.
Now, what was the work that you did on Fight Pass? Like, what was it like to kind of get that ready for launch?
Oh, it was pain. It was like anything with the UFC. It was no notice and a lot of work. It was 6 weeks notice. So what happened was
6 weeks. To put together a
6
streaming
weeks.
platform.
Yeah, six weeks notice. So what happened is UFC was with Fox Sports back then, before the ESPN deal. And what happened was UFC needed more fights. Needed to do more events around the world. There were Australia wanted more events. UK wanted more events.
Oh, we frozen. Oh, there we go.
No. Okay. Yeah.
Now
So
you're back.
UFC wanted more events, and Fox were like, "Cool, but we're not going to pay for these 10 extra events." And UFC says, "Okay, we'll find a way to put them online." So they launched Fight Pass literally in 6 weeks' notice. That's why it was free for 3 months. It just wasn't ready for prime time when we first launched.
Phil Marks, I'm pretty sure you were probably a first day UFC Fight Pass
dude.
subscriber. Am I right on that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I watched fights till I dropped when that first happened. And even, well, I'm sure you'll get into it, but the YouTube aspect of UFC, right? You, Ant, you did a lot of work with that. And I'm very fascinated. Am I correct on that, right? You worked on
No, but I don't blame you. Eric Bischoff said that, and I was like,
Okay.
Eric, I didn't touch UFC's YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, their YouTube as well. Their YouTube game is like next level as well. So it's like you just need to subscribe to that now, because Fight Pass is sort of like, I don't want to sound like a hater here, but it's sort of fallen off, but it
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know. Like, I know that they added a lot of stuff. Pardon me?
They shouldn't have fired me then, should they?
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, there's not the same hype around it as there once was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, so I think with Fight Pass now, I mean, the value it's amazing value for money for $10 to get the library alone. I'm old enough to remember ordering DVDs. I'm old enough to remember ordering videos.
Tape trading, yeah.
Yeah, tape trading. That's where I got my ECW from. That's where I got my, WCW pay-per-views. That's where I got my Pride FC videos.
Yeah, me too. So Pride I watched on DVD, like that's how I consumed it, know. Yeah.
I remember getting all of my everything from Japan that I ever watched as a teenager was all tape trading. No, I didn't tape trade, but I had friends who tape traded, so I would just watch what they got. Yeah. And I remember seeing Torimon for the first time, and just my brain was completely shattered by what I was seeing. Like, apparently it was all called in the ring. It was Ultimo Dragon's promotion. There was one guy who would literally read a book while he was wrestling, and I'm like, this is stuff that AEW, I'm shocked, didn't immediately start doing. But so what is the conversation like when they come to you and they're like, hey, by the way, in 6 weeks we're launching a full streaming service, get on that?
Well, that was Marshall Zelaznik who'd hired me, took a big chance and hired me rather than a more traditional PR type person. And he came to me, goes, we're launching a OTT service in 6 weeks. I need you on the team. And because, I love Marshall and, he'd taken a chance on me, I was like, okay, cool. I guess that's what I do around here now. So we worked on Fight Pass. It was a really small team. I mean, you guys know Ariel Hawani, was combat sports journalist extraordinaire. He's a good friend of mine. He gave me shit for the way we launched Fight Pass. And then I think 10 days later, WWE launched the network, and he said it was the first 10-7 of the new year, which really hurt my feelings. But it was launched with 6 weeks notice, and go, we are doing this. We're having a first event in 6.5 weeks notice. And I mean, but I love Fight Pass. I pay with my own money. I don't get it for free anymore. I think for $10 you can't do wrong with that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And now, so you were involved in UFC around the time Brock Lesnar was, right?
Fucking hell, why'd you bring that up? Jeez, yes, I had to work with Brock Lesnar.
Do you want to go into that? It sounds like
Yeah, sure, yeah. I mean, it's just a pain in the arse to work. I mean, the UFC fighters, no surprise, are alpha males. Yeah, you know, they don't like being told what to do. So there's a way of approaching them. I had a reputation, rightly or wrongly, for being able to work with the problem children, you know, as they were called. So the Michael Bisping, who's a good friend of mine, the Rampage Jackson is a good friend of mine. You know, to a lesser extent, Chael Sonnen, super professional, but he would do weird things like, yeah. So Chael, I mean, Chael's a big wrestling fan. About the crossover, like he obviously he took a lot of inspiration from top wrestling, especially like wrestling heels. I mean, called himself the bad guy.
Yeah, to this day.
Yeah. So when the UFC goes city to city, you know, you don't want, oh shit, do we have an extra belt anywhere? No, someone's got to go back to Las Vegas to get it. So we were in Chicago, and he was fighting Michael Bisping on the co-main event. And he calls me. He goes, Ant, I'm downstairs in the UFC office. He goes, I'm in that big storage locker you guys bring. I was like, okay. What, do you need a pen? You need a biro? What do you need? He goes, I know there's a UFC belt here.
I think we...
See, when Ric Flair showed up to WWF with the belt, I'm like, Chael. He goes, yeah. I was like, no, Chael. He goes, too late, and I've already got it. So I called Dana White, and I'm like, and I didn't say, hey, Dana, did you ever watch WWE Primetime when you were a kid? Because I knew he didn't like pro wrestling, which is ironic because now he's part owner of a pro wrestling company. Yeah. But I was like, Chael's going to show up with a belt and insist he's the real world champion. He goes, what? I was like, Chael's got a UFC belt. He goes, how did he get that? I'm like, I guess you could say it was my fault. He goes, okay, cool. And that was it. He was cool with it. Pretended he wasn't, but he was cool when he did the Ric Flair bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good TV, like it really is good TV.
God, that is such
you asked me about Brock.
Yeah.
You asked me about Brock was an asshole to deal with.
Really?
No. Yes. Surprisingly, no.
I mean, I'm not shocked by that. I don't know why I said really like that, because it sounds like the most believable thing I've ever heard. But I'd love to hear specifics on that.
Yeah, I mean, one is, I would hang out with UFC heavyweight champions, or I'd see them at work every day. Brock is a different size to these guys.
Yeah,
like I remember looking at his watch once. I'm thinking, shit, I could probably wear that as a weird, funky 1980s retro belt around my waist. He was just big, and like his hands looked like pies with sausages sticking out of them. I just huge.
They made special gloves for him, didn't they? I think
they did. Yeah, him and Shay Carvin. Yeah, both of them.
And Shane, wow. So you brought up three names here. You brought up Dana White, you brought up Ariel Helwani, and you brought up Brock Lesnar. Three.
I'm name dropping like shit. Yeah.
No. This is great, man. I'm marking out over here. So, those three gentlemen had an interesting conflict between them. Now, you, I don't know, what was your, for those of you who don't know, right? Like Brock Lesnar was returning at UFC 200. Ariel Helwani put the story out right before it happened. Dana White escorted Helwani out of the building, revoked his media pass, and he's never been allowed to really cover UFC like that ever since. Dana has since been gone to networks and been like, oh, we don't want this guy doing this, right? Like when Ariel started covering WWE because he was covering UFC for BT Sport, and then UFC started doing something with BT, and they're like, we don't want Ariel covering this shit. So then he started covering WWE, and to bring it back to pro wrestling. But just your perspective on like that conflict, and did you have any? Were you in communication with any of those three during that time, or?
No. I was out of the PR game. I was fully in my day-to-day was Fight Pass then. So yeah, it's tough. I mean, Ariel and I spoke about this a couple of times. I mean, look, Dana didn't escort him out. He had him out to escort. I mean,
right. Security.
Maybe back then Dana could have escorted, but Ariel's kind of buff these days. I don't know I don't know what kind of cocktails that he's on these days, but Ariel is buff. I give him a hug if he hates it.
Shadow
Had a
boxing
good
with
feel.
Nate Diaz.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Ariel's in shape. These guys. Maybe Dana wouldn't be able to bounce him against as well these days. But yeah, I mean, like, this is regrettable. Look, this is where the sausage should have been made. Is if Ariel at the time had a better relationship with the UFC, and it's the UFC's fault that he didn't. He should have said, "Hey, I know Brock Lesnar's returning." Like I've had calls, not on anything quite so big as this, but I've had calls when I was head of UFC PR saying, "No, and I know for a fact that this fight's happening." And at that point, you've got a horse trade. You've got to go, okay, that is true, but we have a big announcement where we want to surprise the fans. And basically, what you do is you kind of appeal to their sense of like, look, it's going to be disappointing for the fans. You know, it's a little bit like if you go to a theater where it's showing The Empire Strikes Back and go, look, Vader's your fucking father, and you ruin it for everybody. You kind of appeal to that. And if they say, well, news is news, what you say is, okay, if you don't break it, this is where I can give you again. I can give you an interview with Brock immediately after. You'll have the exclusive first interview with Brock, why he's coming back. You'll also get an interview with Dana about how this came about. And you see if they go for that. But things had broken down to the point there with Ariel and the UFC and Dana where he didn't bother approaching because they were actually lying. I mean, Brett Okamoto from ESPN asked Dana 2 days before the announcement, like, hey, we're hearing Brock's coming back. Is that true? It's like, nothing to it. Which he's entitled to do as a promo because they had a big reveal that they wanted to do, you know?
And that reveal was
so it's
awesome,
just regretful. Yeah, it's just regretful. And look,
did Brock himself have any heat with the fact that this was spoiled, or was it just mostly Dana and Ariel? Like, with Brock, like, oh, Brock don't like Little Mermaid.
No, Brock didn't do. No, from what I understand, it was. I mean, Brock was getting paid. I don't think he gave a fuck.
Yeah, he didn't.
Brock like money. Brock hate Little Mermaid.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
That's my Brock Lesnar, by the way. My Brock Lesnar is essentially like a Neanderthal Hulk. Yeah.
It's pretty good.
What are you saying?
Working with Brock was hard work. It was.
Well, yeah, that was the thing. Like, I thought you were about to get into some specifics about Brock being a jerk.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yes, we'll get to it in a sec.
Yeah, so UFC. I think was it one? No, it wasn't 145. It was when he fought his first retirement fight, which we didn't know at the time, when he fought Alistair Overeem. ESPN back then would still not cover UFC. We're just it was just a flat no. So we said, hey, we'll provide the satellite truck. We'll give you a feed. We'll have Brock Lesnar in one room and Alistair Overeem, the 6'5", gargantuan man who can probably the only guy who can match Brock for strength in the UFC. We'll have them both on at once. ESPN bit, they did it. And the idea from then is we had an hour of satellite time, and there was going to be 15 minutes with Fox, 15 minutes with a big Canadian broadcaster, 15 minutes with an international broadcaster. Alistair came to me and Alistair, occasionally you get guys come and say, can you give me a line? Can you give me a line? Like, Dana hated this stuff. But oh well, when you got someone who's nervous about going on TV and they're asking for a line, you help them out. So I was like, why don't you say you're going to kick his ass back all the way back to fake wrestling? So that's what Alistair said. That royally pissed Brock off.
Yeah.
After that ESPN interview, he got up, he's walking out the door, and God, I mean, talking about life in front of your own eyes, I kind of stood in front of him without really trying to make out that that's what I was doing. I don't want to get murdered. And he just kept walking. I was like, Brock, we got 4 more. He goes, maybe you do. And but away he went,
Brock, don't have 4 more.
No. I mean, it never occurred to me to offer him, to send him my girlfriend, respond to that. But yeah.
Okay, so this might be speculation. I'm assuming you don't have inside info about this.
Hold on 1 second. I just want to let everyone know. I see the super chats building up. While we're doing the interview portion here with Ant, I'm only going to be doing super chats involving that are questions for Ant. So I will get to the other ones later. We're just going to, hold them until when, they're more topically relevant. Sorry, Disc, go ahead.
No, you're fine. Okay. So, the whole time I'm thinking while you're talking about Brock Lesnar being a dick and how he acts and stuff like that, as a wrestling fan, The only question that I have is, and you'll probably be able to give good insight into this, the SmackDown episode where Brock Lesnar was advertised and then Vince McMahon got fired, and then they said that he walked out, and then by the end of the episode he came back. A lot of people just came out and said that was a work. I never thought it was. I thought Brock Lesnar is the exact type of asshole who would take that opportunity to get as much more money as he could out of that.
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be in his contract that he really only dealt with Vince McMahon directly. And now that Vince was gone, I saw, to me, it seems totally plausible that Brock Lesnar would say, I'm not going out there, and then hold him up.
Completely believable. From my perspective, completely believable.
That's what I thought. Because every time I bring it up, people are just like, no, it was a work. Because people think everything's a work because it's wrestling. And most of it
might have been, but it's also, has Brock Lesnar got that in him? Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes.
To me, it looked like Brock miss Vince. Brock leave. Oh, wait. Brock not no way home. We do have some super chats. We have two of this. Donnie Suarez for $2 checking in with any Ronda stories, which was also East Side Reviews also checking in thoughts on the Ronda Rousey books she wrote. So we got these two about Ronda Rousey. Is that a topic you feel comfortable talking about?
Yeah, love Ronda. Like I'll defend Ronda. She was like. When I said Brock was an asshole, I mean he was an asshole to me. There was another. She used to work at the UFC. Her name's Jen Wank. She now works for One Championship, but she was Brock's go-to person. She got a great relationship with him, and Brock was fine to work with her. You know, look, Nate Diaz had a reputation not working well with anyone. He would always do things with me. He's just, sometimes you just hit it off with people, and like. Like with Nick, I'd say, okay, I know you don't like doing PR. Here's a list of stuff we'd like you to do. Here's 5 silver bullets. Just take a pen and cross out the ones you don't want to do. And that's cool with me. And so that's what we would do. Ronda might have this reputation. She was always awesome with me. Like, once I was with her picked her up from a hotel lobby at 6 a.m., didn't get back till midnight. She was awesome to work with. Ronda is just built a little different, You look at the way she was raised, some of the tragedies she had early on in life.
Yeah.
You have to keep that in mind when you're approaching her. What I will say,
in what way? Like, what is the way that one approaches Ronda Rousey safely? Like, I'm talking like she's a bear or something like that. But like, yeah.
Yeah. So again, you've got to sit down with her and say, "Okay, Ronda, this is stuff I'd like you to do." That's one of the big mistakes I see young PR people. They say, okay, this is what we got. And it's like, no, that's what you have. You can't make the athlete do that. You're asking for it. Now, and even if you could make them go there and do that, you're going to get like a Sasha Banks level interview where they give yes, no answers and be pissed off. And it's not going to sell a pay-per-view or a ticket. In fact, it's probably going to turn people off. Ronda, now, after the 2 losses, Ronda really every fighter thinks they're undefeatable. They all think they're invulnerable. They wouldn't be able to do this for a living or do this at all if they didn't think that. Yeah, I know some fighters get hurt, but I won't because I'm super tough. Yeah, I know that he knocks everybody out. He ain't knocking me out. I'm untouchable. Right. They have to have a way to suspend reality. Ronda could suspend reality as strongly as anyone I've ever worked with in terms of a UFC fighter. When she couldn't do that, I think she really struggled with who she was. And I think to an extent she might still be struggling with that. But what I will say, last time I saw her is when she was inducted to the UFC Hall of Fame. And what I will say is there were a group of girls, and I'm talking kids. I'm talking like the oldest one was 17, youngest one looked about 11. And they waited and waited and waited after the show for her. It's about 5 of them. She came out. Not only did she spend like 30 minutes talking to them, but was giving them advice, believing in themselves, that kind of stuff. She had a script from the Hall of Fame. She signed every page and shredded it and gave it to her. No cameras, just me and her, and I think her sister and a another kind of agent type. No one saw that. She could have said, "Oh, thanks very much," and left it at that, and they would have been happy with a photo and a handshake and leave. But she stayed and talked to them.
She went the extra mile there for those kids.
Yeah,
Like, she
yeah,
really.
Yeah.
That shows that she cares. I like that. I really like that. Now,
yeah.
The
Ronda's
stories that,
always been great with me.
the stories that you hear coming out of WWE, though, like, you know, that she had an attitude problem, that she was angry about a booking, angry about the way she was presented, angry at the fans. Like, do you believe that?
Yeah. I mean, there's
there's
definitely going to be some truth to that. There definitely is. I mean, two things can be true at once. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Who was it? It was, why am I blanking on the name? The Irish girl, one of the top stars.
Becky
Becky
Lynch.
Lynch.
Yeah, Becky was
Yeah.
like, you know, how privileged, you know, she was. She was lucky to come in here and not pay your dues and do this stuff. That's true. That's you can't say, well, that part there is just false. It's all true. It's also true that without Ronda Rousey, without what the UFC did, Becky Lynch would probably be wrestling, you know, in a TNA match,
Right.
matches,
And dues are paid another
without
way.
UFC. Yeah. So both things are true.
So
I would definitely agree with that. I would say without Ronda Rousey, you don't get women main eventing WrestleMania. They were able to do that
No, not
main
at all.
event of WrestleMania with
It'd still
Becky
be called
and Charlotte and
It'd
Ronda.
still be cool. Let me ask you guys: without Ronda Rousey, the women's championship still called the Diva Championship?
Is it still a butterfly belt? You know, like it's,
Yeah.
Up until about 2 years ago, probably. Yeah, I think when Vince got out of there, they would have ditched all that. But
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So a question about Ronda, real quick. When you worked with her, did you get the feeling that she was a wrestling fan? I was always curious about that.
Yeah. So Shayna Baszler got her into it. We just insist. I think they all lived together, and she just insisted that they watch Raw and SmackDown.
So
I did remember Ronda.
She wasn't a fan growing up or anything. Okay.
I don't think she was a fan. She was a fan. So I hope I'm not doing a disservice to her, but I think she was a fan back in the day with her father. And when her father passed away, it was painful for her to do a lot of things she did with her dad. Like, she was a really good swimmer.
Yeah.
Like, she was a really, really good swimmer, but she stopped doing swimming because the association with her dad, it was just too painful to be reminded. I think the same thing happened with wrestling until she was reintroduced by Shayna, and they just all watched it together. Yeah.
And what about Judo Gene LaBelle?
what was that, Phil?
What about Judo Gene LaBelle? I'm not even sure if you know that, but I'm sure he imparted a little bit of pro wrestling.
I would imagine so. I mean, look, long before she watched Raw week in, week out, she called herself, Rowdy Ronda because of Roddy Piper.
Right.
And she was involved in the business enough to be able to ask Roddy, face to face, hey, do you mind if I take your name?
Yeah.
I have a question, Ant. How much synergy before, I guess, the official merger between WWE and UFC through TKO, how much synergy was being had during the time that you were working there? Were you guys looking at things production wise, maybe media content wise at WWE? Were they looking at some of your stuff? Were you guys, doing, kind of doing trade secrets with each other a little bit?
No, I mean, famously, Vince could have put a stop to the UFC getting on Spike TV with the Ultimate Fighter, and he had the in contract with Spike that he could have vetoed, especially coming immediately behind. If he had done that and the Ultimate Fighter didn't happen, is there a UFC anymore? Is Dana White in any way involved in it? No, who knows? There's a potential. UFC's gone without Vince doing that. I mean, I also kind of created the UFC Hall of Fame, and I very much based it on WWE Hall of Fame.
That makes sense.
Very much
what
based
do you
it.
make of people getting
Awesome
upset?
idea.
People are upset. Oh, Donald Cerrone was never a champion, and they inducted him. That stuff annoys me. I like how the UFC Hall of Fame's we'll induct a fight. Because this fight is Hall of Fame worthy and stuff like that.
Thank you. That was my good idea for the year.
Dude, thank you for that, because people complain about that, and it's dude, shut up. You can't tell me Donald Cerrone doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. On multiple fronts. So it's yeah, I don't know. Sorry.
No, that's a great. I've said for a long time that WWE should induct companies. They should induct feuds. They should induct, all that stuff.
They should do matches, man. They should steal it right back. They should do matches.
Absolutely.
That's you, man. That's brilliant. Good on you.
It's a great thing to bring that type of audience into, Like, hey, why not induct a Hall of Fame match? I mean, more people will see that match and obviously, branch off from there as far as wanting to become a fan.
It's so smart. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I said that came about. I was Dave Meltzer helped me a lot with coming up with the Hall of Fame, because I really think the Observer newsletter Hall of Fame is good. I also spoke to the Football Hall of Fame and all these other, and I had a friend of mine, Shauna Wilson, used to work in the same PR department in the UFC. She went on to work with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I was talking to her and some of her colleagues. I was like, well, how come you've got the singer from Fleetwood Mac and Fleetwood Mac both in the Hall of Fame? And I said, oh, we've actually got 26 of those where John Lennon's in and the Beatles. I was like, well, why? I was like, why not just put the Beatles in? Just to help me understand your thinking. They're like, well, one is what they did. The Beatles is celebrating what those four guys did together. And obviously John Lennon, it's for what he did as a solo artist. And I thought, shit. One of the things I had to do was Stephan Bonner was already in the UFC Hall of Fame. And I didn't. Stephan had a great fight, a legendary, one of the historically most important fights with Forrest Griffin. But you look at the rest of his resume, and it's not like Randy Couture's. It's not like Chuck Liddell's. It's not like BJ Penn's.
Hey, he put guys over, man. He put John Jones over. He put Silva over.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yeah. I don't want to say the Brooklyn Brawler of UFC, but yeah, I know what you mean. But I was like, I can retroactively make sense if, what if we did, what if it was, well, we've already got the John Lennons in. What if we put the Beatles in? What if we put the two guys who are in the fight in? And I thought, I love the message there, because I'm a sentimental is really, especially when it comes to fighting and wrestling. It made sense to me. It's like these two, any night, on any point in the card, you can have two guys who just produce magic together. And that deserves to be remembered. And I thought it'd be a way of getting in the guys like Stephan Bonner. It'd be a way of getting in these guys. You just have great fights. It would just, and also UFC fans, we will talk about in the industry, they've got no memory. Like if it happened 5 years ago, it might as well have never happened. If it happened 10 years ago, it happened like pre-dinosaur, So I thought by having the fights, that would be in the Hall of Fame, a fight wing, it'd be a way of getting people go back and shit. All right, I'll see what the big deal about this is. I'll watch it. So that's how that came about.
That makes sense. We got a super chat question here from Breno79. Is Conor McGregor actually as mad as he seems?
Can be. Yes, can be.
I don't know if he means mad as in like angry or mad as in like he's mad. He's mad.
No, he means crazy. I think Breno means crazy. He is, yeah. He's funny. I mean, he's funny. He's charismatic. I took him. I live in Vegas, like where UFC is based still. And when he first was getting big, we did a press junket at an Irish bar. And the whole way there, he's like, fucking Englishman. I was like, what? He's like, you fucking Englishman. He's like, I'm finally come to America. I think it's the first time you ever been to Vegas. I come to America. Where you fucking taking me? A fucking Irish bar. And he was just hysterical,
That's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, he acted like he was a superstar long before he was a superstar, which usually is an indication, if they can fight or if they can wrestle, that they will be a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
And I did see
the job you want, not the job you have. I get
exactly.
that 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. The super chat about the Ronda books. His sister wrote those. For me, the key to getting a good book is you've got to ask tough questions. Like when I was writing the book with Bisping, I said like, well, why did you do that? Yeah. Why did you act like a dick? Why did you do that? Why did you do that? And it's not. He would get pissed off. He's like, why are we going over this again? I was like, because you haven't explained why you acted like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure your sibling's going to push you like that. And so
Right.
I haven't
Yeah,
read
that
the
makes
new one.
sense.
I'm going to, but the first one was a bit disappointing. I'm hoping that the second one's better.
Makes sense. Yeah. Shaggy Phil 73, $5. Thank you so much. Checking in says, in your opinion, is the media coverage on John Jones off cage fair, overblown, or too light? McGregor seems to be just as crazy, but has a better image.
Oh shit, that's a good question. Hard one. How can I answer this? This is like an essay question. I don't know if I could soundbite this up. I could soundbite. I think they both get cut some slack, and I also think sometimes they get yanked pretty hard. You could do it. One Google search you'd find almost an apology piece for John Jones and several for Conor McGregor. You'd also not have to look very far for people just smashing them to bits. Again, John for me, and he's another one. We just didn't have a good working relationship until right at the very end. Actually, John's one of the most interesting characters I've ever met. Best question I ever heard a media guy ask John Jones was Gareth A. Davis, who's a British journalist, and he said, "John, are you a good guy who can't help being bad, or are you a bad guy who just is trying to be good?" And John went, "Ooh, ooh." And then he kind of like dissolved the question by doing some like, "Well, we're all God's creatures" bullshit. But you could tell like he's like, "Shit, I don't know. What am I?" Because you've always got that duality with John, and I found him to be like amazingly charming, amazingly generous, and but we've all seen him acting, the absolute fool. We've seen the same with McGregor.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they're so compelling.
That makes a lot of sense to me. I like that answer a lot. Wow. So how do you make the transition from UFC over to TNA?
So I got fired. Well, I didn't get fired. They eliminated my position. They brought in a guy They brought in a guy of my position who actually recently got let go for mistaking. He made the mistake of thinking that a very important client's wife was a prostitute.
Jeez.
So, yeah.
Was it Brock Lesnar? Did they think Sable was a prostitute?
No, it wasn't Brock. No, my replacement as head of Fight Pass was not Brock Lesnar. No,
Brock Love, old lady.
But yeah, I started my own business, and a friend of mine from the UFC, Jamie Pollock, was hired by Anthem, and he calls me up and goes, "Are you doing anything?" I'm like, "No, I'm doing fuck all. It's COVID, I'm pretending I'm a school teacher trying to teach my 8-year-old, how to read and write. What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm working with Anthem. They've got Impact Wrestling. I know you like wrestling. I need help." I was like, "Cool." So I got fuck all to do. So I went over to TNA, worked with the great Scott D'Amore, Ross Foreman, Josh Matthews, all great guys.
Yeah.
And those are the only people I like over there, pretty much.
And shout out Pollock as well. Shout out Pollock.
From the outside, despite moving from mixed martial arts, a legitimate sport, to wrestling, more of a scripted television show, on the outside, it looks like your job for the two of those, I mean, it doesn't really change very much, right? I mean, you're still presenting the product in the same light.
Yeah.
So that's got to be a pretty easy transition for you then.
Yes, because I see it's the same thing. So this is the thing when you're pitching someone to write a story or do a YouTube blog on something, and whether it's pro wrestling, boxing, MMA, what you're pitching isn't these two guys are going to fuck each other up. It's that moment just before the first bell when you got Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bret Hart, and they just ring the bell, and they just, good wrestlers in a big match will just pause for a few seconds and just look at each other. Sasha Banks did that at WrestleMania. They pause for a few seconds, just that moment, like, holy shit, anything can happen. You get that in fights. Yeah. They don't just bring them to the cage and go, "Okay, you're both here, go." They do all the bullshit. They have this on this corner. We already know who they are. Why do we need them introduced? We know who they are. It's to drag this moment out where people go, "Oh my God, I can't wait till they start fucking fighting." That is what you're selling. And it's the same in pro wrestling as it is in boxing, it is in the UFC when you sell.
Yeah,
So-
Tony Khan.
Same
Yeah,
product.
Tony
That's the
Khan.
magic of it. Yeah, yeah.
So when, okay, by the what time frame are we talking about here that you started working in TNA?
2000, I think.
2000.
Still pandemic era. You know,
Wait,
empty
like 20,
crowds.
so 2021, 2020, somewhere
2020,
around
I think. 2020,
there?
I think.
Okay. And you said that Josh Matthews, Scott D'Amore, and who else was the only people that you enjoyed working with there?
Yeah, the weird thing about that company is they hate success over there. That's the crazy thing. They hate success. I mean, something really weird is going on now. They're just letting go. The few competent people who were still there that have been letting go don't know what is. I mean, look, I do know where it's gone. They're not funding it. They're not funding it properly. They should have sold it to Scott D'Amore in January. That's what they should have done.
I was weeding out who I can tell who is difficult to work with. That was one of the things I was doing while you were saying that. Because Don Callis was there. But
no, Don Callis was great. Don Callis was
Don
great.
okay, he was.
Yeah,
Okay.
Don Callis called me up, and he just wanted to know if any. Basically, had a list of UFC fights that he was being convinced over the years were works. And I spent an hour going, no, Don, it wasn't a work. No, Don, it wasn't a work.
Oh, that's so funny.
From somewhere.
My other thing was that I've heard you talk about how Scott D'Amore was really interested in buying ROH and the tape library.
Yeah.
And do you think it would have been in better hands than what it is now?
Look, Anthem
because
Ring of Honor would have
Anthem
ceased
now.
to exist. Yeah, it would have ceased to exist in a way that I'm beginning to fear that TNA will cease to exist in the next year to 18 months. Unless
Dang. So why do you say that? Why do you say that?
Yeah, year to 18 months sounds like short term.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ain't looking fantastic. Look, they're
Is this
on
why they're
network
holding on to
access.
WWE?
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if I woke up one day and there was a tweet that it had been absorbed into NXT. That would not shock me at all.
So,
sorry. This super chat here is: what do you think of the NXT-TNA collaboration? Do you think maybe this collaboration is just a way to kind of like ease into this transition of having NXT kind of absorb TNA?
Maybe, but it also makes sense for WWE. I mean, because they're establishing that the third tier brand. That now after AEW there's a drop and then it goes to TNA as being an alternative. Well, they've established that as less than neck and neck with their Proving Ground League, so it's great branding for them.
Right.
That's a good point.
Did Jordan Grace win at the weekend?
No, but if Jordan Grace wins at the TNA show, but then to prove your point further, though, well, it's on the WWE platform, though. So I felt like it was smart of them, though, to sort of, because they did that to AEW too, not to make it about AEW, but like, remember when Sami Zayn brought up AEW on Raw that one time? They did that to establish, like, well, no, they're under us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't even.
Yeah.
So
exactly. That's it's win-win for them. And look, it's win-win. I mean, I'm not saying it's not a win for TNA either. And look, I remember I wrote a page of zingers for TNA to deliver to Tony Khan, and these were softballs. These were basically like Fulham FC had just lost and making fun of like Kenny Omega is a great striker. Tony Khan really should move him over to Fulham because they can't score. It's just like real softball, and Scott was like, Luke, we can't make fun of Tony Khan in any way, shape, or form. I'm like, really?
Now,
what the fuck?
Wasn't this the time period where Tony Khan was appearing on TNA television in sunglasses and just ripping the company to shreds?
Yes.
And no one ever said anything back, or like there was no payoff back.
It wasn't my job, but I didn't give a shit. And me and Scott D'Amore are friends to this day. I called Scott and I was like, I don't know wrestling like you know wrestling. So, poor scorn on my amateur fucking idea here. But shouldn't we fire a few zingers back at Tony Khan. It's like, it's not make fun of the fact he's rich. Is it really that insulting that you're a billionaire and you're a rich kid? Can't we say that? Is it that bad that your football team doesn't win at the weekend?
Right.
And he's like, no, we can't. He's like, we can't
nothing. He's just that soft. Like, you just wow.
So
Or that
is that
dictatorial.
Scott being soft, or is that Anthem saying don't?
That sounds like it's Tony being soft.
Tony.
Oh, Tony.
I don't want to start
ahead,
sending you a text message, but I got the distinct impression that Scott had read the room. Obviously, Don Callis, got this over the line with Kenny Omega coming, and it was Don Callis and Kenny Omega who had the whole idea of the title versus title. And look, it did business for TNA. It did great business. Did the best pay-per-view done since the Hogan era. But Scotty was very good at reading people, and he said, like, no zingers back.
So with Scott, you know Scott specifically. Since he got fired, there's been a lot of talk in the IWC space that he should go to work for Tony. I didn't think Scott would see. Scott seems like the kind of guy that knows that he'd go to work for Tony and kind of not do anything, right? I by the way, I met Scott way back in the day, like early TNA days. So I had a few I was a regular around, there a little bit. So I know him from way back then, a little bit, not like you, obviously, but when he was like managing Team Canada, but I always got the feeling that Scott wouldn't do that, and that if he was going to do anything else, it would be something he would be betting on himself type of thing. Would you agree with that? Do you think he has that ambition, or do you think he would go to work for a TNA or a WWE or someplace like that?
I think he would. Look, the thing is, Scott. I mean, you can thank Kevin Nash and Don Callis for outing him, but Scott's got money like Scrooge McDuck's got fucking money. All right, like Scott's. Really? Yeah, Scott's not just rich. Scott's wealthy. All right, like I think he owns like half of Windsor. The city. I think he built half of it.
Is it like family money though, or like did he just?
Okay,
he just save his money very well.
If
you can't talk about that, that's fine.
No, I got no filter. That's the thing. So apparently, when Scott was getting the ultimatum from TNA, he was talking to some of the owners of Anthem. I'll put it like that. You can just Google who that is. And Scott addressed that very thing. He goes, so what they were saying is like, hey, we need a real business person to come here. And Scott goes, well, you say you need a real business person, but I turned a family fortune of a couple of dozen million into hundreds of millions. And meanwhile, you took a family fortune of billions and turned that into hundreds of millions. So who needs a good fucking business idea guy? Because it ain't me. Yeah, wow. Yeah. Scott Scott let him fucking know. But yeah, Scott inherited a lot of money and he's turned that to a lot more money. Scott's super bright. Scott's one of the smartest people I've ever met.
When it comes to Scott, so like you're in contact with him while the firing is happening and going down. What was his mindset like? Was he crushed by it? Was he pissed off? Yeah, I mean, I called him after it happened. Because he got me tickets, got me and my son, front row tickets to the pay-per-view, Hard to Kill, which I thought was fucking fantastic. Yeah. TNA's coming back in a big way. They got a ton of buzz. I know they get a big buy rate on it. And then I saw this news and I called him up. I was like, hey, I texted him saying, hey, I'm sure you got a lot of texts, but, I hope you're right. I knew he was all right. Financially couldn't give a fuck. But Scott could do nothing for a living. Scott could do, he's developed this huge swath of the city. He's a couple of roads called D'Amore Way, which weird. No, D'Amore Way, weird. Anyway, doesn't roll off the tongue, but he doesn't have to do it. What he wants to do is work in pro wrestling. And I think the Tony Khan, Triple H, you got someone who only comes to work because he wants to be there. That's something. But
you also have he's got no fear of being fired.
Yeah.
Because it's, not only does he not have to worry about how he pays the mortgage, he doesn't have a fucking mortgage. He buys estates cash. So he bought his house cash. I think Tony would be very bright to call him. I think Triple H would be very bright to call him and bring him in. I've never seen anyone.
NXT Canada has a good ring to it. Just saying.
There you go. Yeah. I don't think anyone has the respect to talent like him.
So just with the NXT TNA thing though, quickly, you don't see it as a benefit if like they use TNA as sort of like a territory that they can rotate talent in and out of as well, or like
definitely. That definitely helps everyone. It definitely helps. I mean, if that's the goal is to stay in business and sell a few pay-per-views, and that can help. But if the goal was, which I know was Scott's goal, with rebranding TNA, was to make a real push to catching and surpassing AEW, to make a real push. That's not the way to go. To basically be neck and neck and probably a little bit behind the third brand of the WWE is not the way you establish yourself as level with AEW.
You have an interesting perspective on this because you've worked with UFC, you helped develop their streaming service, and you worked in TNA. I've always thought there was probably a part of this that was an Endeavor thing where they wanted WWE to support TNA since TNA is using Endeavor streaming service. Is that a possibility, do you think?
No. That's too compartmentalized like that. No.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I still am not quite sure about how much Endeavor peeks into WWE business. You hear different things from different people. Meltzer sometimes says that they're all over it, and then you hear other people say, it's kind of back and forth. So I just wasn't sure, which way it went on there. So
as a marketing,
that's not quite the way it goes. And it's taken this long to see real integration with WWE and UFC. Endeavor streaming, it's not at all.
By the way, folks, joining the panel, one of our favorites here, regular on the show, regular co-host of both this and Tooney Talk TV, the one and only Mr. Kevin Apollo. Welcome back.
Hey, Jeb. Sorry I'm late. You guys are talking about one of my favorite subjects in the form of TNA. So everything's been super interesting.
Well, Ant was there, so we got this inside perspective now.
Yeah, this is incredible.
Yeah. So, Ant, now the pandemic era TNA.
Mm-hmm.
How do they like how did the company change and adapt and survive the pandemic? Because you hear stories of so many companies going under during that period of time when you couldn't have live gates and everything like that. How did TNA? What was TNA's internal strategy for staying the course and weathering the storm that was quarantine and social distancing?
Yeah, I mean, to the extent I was involved, I mean, it was you've got to figure out a way of getting several dozen people in a building at a time when that was very hard to do. They really leaned into the COVID testing. The isolation. We all lived through that nightmare. It was no different for them as any business who had to jump through all of a sudden 1,000 hoops to get stuff done. Mm-hmm. What we did do is really leaned into YouTube, which was kind of like the start of a brand new chapter in my own career. Is YouTube is like you guys are popping like crazy, for such a young channel, getting bigger and bigger. And no one else. No, we'll give you props. No one else is doing what you guys are doing in this space.
Oh, thank you. It's been a ride. I mean, we're about to hit 4K on the wrestling channel here. We just passed 500 on the Tooney Town TV, which we just launched 2 weeks ago. So it's been a pretty incredible ride so far. Hopefully it keeps going.
You're not even on the ride yet, guys. You're still in the line for the ride. I can see the way you guys are going. This is going to be fucking. You guys are kicking ass. I'm very impressed.
Thank you so much.
But yeah, I mean, like you, some people at TNA identified that a way you can have a community is by putting the flagship show. We made it available for $1 a month, so 25 cents a show.
Yeah.
And you could watch it and you could be in the chat, and you guys have got like super chats going like crazy. We had a great community built almost within 3-4 months. And one of the coolest things I've done in my entire career is build that community, which is why I'm so butthurt that some imbecile over at Anthem, Ariel Scherner, has fucking torpedoed it, because he still can't get over the fact he was wrong about YouTube. And I won't give numbers, but TNA's YouTube business exploded. Just went to a blizzard of banknotes.
Right.
And Ariel cannot get over the fact he was fucking wrong. So as soon as he got any kind of power, he's cut the balls off it and tried to get people to go to the TNA app, which fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that why they
fucking
switched their name
sucks.
back to TNA? Was because their YouTube started with the old stuff they were uploading? Like
No.
TNA was more. No. Okay.
No. Look, it's a better name. It's a better name.
Yeah.
It was a better name, but no, nostalgia works. I mean, there was the TNA awful, memes that we all remember. But memories tend to be kind to stuff like that, and I think Scott identified rightly that people were ready for that rebrand. I mean, the TNA, that chant never stopped. Never stopped. It was called Impact Wrestling, which is a terrible name, terrible branding. I actually knew Scott was thinking about it. I said, dude, let's 20th anniversary. Let's just let's bring back TNA. Let's bring back TNA. The Twiggers now. And then 18 months later, they did it. But no, it's nothing to do with that. I think it was just really, really smart branding to bring it back. And they had all this momentum, and then they fired the guy who
it's ridiculous.
made it possible.
It's amazing. It's amazing to me. Yeah, it's amazing to me that more companies don't see the value of YouTube as a streaming platform. Because look at this chart right here from Nielsen. I'll put it up on the screen here. YouTube is the biggest streaming service on the planet. It is 8.6% of the market share. Disney, look how far down Disney Plus is from that. Tubi is on the rise now. I think actually this is a little out of date. Tubi has overtaken Peacock at this point and is about to overtake Disney Plus. These free services like YouTube, Tubi, these are the places where people need to be looking. People are like, "Oh, what's AEW going to do?" I was like, "AEW should go to YouTube."
Yeah,
they should go to YouTube
with Ring
you
of Honor.
still make ad revenue.
Yeah, they should they could put their flagship shows behind a paywall just to have the chat. And look, they've got 400,000 athletes under contract who aren't doing anything.
Yeah,
give 5 of them, say, hey, you're on the YouTube chat this week.
Yeah,
under your own names, and you're interacting with people. We would have like Crazy Steve and guys like that, and Havoc would pop in the chat, and everyone would go nuts during the Impact thing.
So
funny,
cool.
just an aside, Scott D'Amore did call me, give me a bollocking once. He goes, and you can't, we can't say the stuff's live. It's not live. I'm like, hey, I've only been in wrestling 5 minutes, but we're saying the fights are real and they're fucking fake. So what's the difference?
Right.
Oh my goodness!
Why can't we say it's live?
I think there is some kind of legal thing where you can't say something is live if it's not live. I think you can get in actual trouble for it. I think I remember. I remember the name controversy. No, I vaguely remember hearing something about something with AEW where they had live on the thing and it was a big controversial thing because it wasn't actually live or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm imagining it. I dreamed it.
I think you're probably. Maybe I'm wrong, but it sounds like
you are right. Sorry, I just got back. I was listening. You are correct. AEW, they did that several times. It wasn't for full shows, but it was it would be on Collision. They'd have the Bucks appear on Collision when CM Punk was there, when they weren't allowed to be in the same arena. And they would always put live in the corner of their backstage promos. The Bucks, Kenny, I want to say they did it with Hangman too, where they'd act like they were in the building, but they weren't actually in the building. They did that several times.
This is crazy. Is this a broadcast TV thing?
Yeah.
There's a lot of bullshitters on YouTube. You say all sorts of stuff.
Oh no, this was on Collision. This was live. This was on Collision. So
okay. I can see how that's like a broadcast TV thing, a cable net. You can't say it's live when it's not.
It's some FCC thing.
YouTube.
Or something like that,
Yeah.
I think they got away with it because they kind of, at the time for Collision, they were putting live in the corner kind of randomly to make sure that people knew that it was live, since they were doing some tape stuff at the time.
Right.
And because they would do that, they would it was a coincidence that it happened to be in the corner at the same time they were running tape promos. So
and the good thing about wrestling is everyone's got such a good sense of humor. Like I always say that I've been in boxing, I've been MMA, I've been in wrestling. The smartest fans by far are the pro wrestling fans, and they're usually ones who got the best sense of humor. So when I got outed for that live shit, I just said, yeah, it's live from last Tuesday, and everyone thought it was fucking hysterical, and they live from last Tuesday,
It's what the old TV shows used to do.
And let me correct you for 1 second. I will tell you, people in pro wrestling had the best sense of humor. Since AEW has come around, that sense of humor has flown out the window for a lot of people, and that was the whole of why I made my channel, was because I was like, you people need to learn how to laugh at yourselves again, because wrestling used to always be something that you loved but also could laugh about.
I will say it is a big distinction between WWE fans and AEW fans. When I make a joke about WWE fans, they don't get all defensive and crazy about it. I might get a few people that are like, "Oh, that's dumb," or "You're stupid," but most of the time they're able to laugh at themselves.
They don't want your address.
Drop an address. I get that all the time.
The people that love the Triple H puppet that nonstop mocks Triple H are WWE fans.
Yeah. And I said it before, but I think
some of the wrestlers.
I think
Kev, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. As I look at some of the wrestlers, one of the first things you're taught is to take your sport seriously, not yourself seriously. And some of those guys kind of forgot that along the way and take themselves entirely too seriously.
Yeah.
I think which one of you guys did? Sorry, I got to ask this. Which one of you guys did the Tony Khan "I Was Afraid for My Life" song?
That would be me.
One.
That would be me.
I was singing that in the fucking shower. My girlfriend's like, "What are you fucking saying?" I just got it like in my head for like all weekend.
Oh my god! Yeah, so the story behind that is it was right when they released the video, and a friend of I can't take full credit. A buddy of mine was like, "Oh my god, I feared for my life. I've had the time of my life," and I was like, "Oh my god!" And 20 minutes later, I came back to him with the full song written, and I was like, "What do you think?" And he was like, "How did you do that fast?" I was like, "It comes like a flash, like it just kind of like hits." I've written all the songs, all the headlines. That's all me.
That was a banger. You got to put that. If I'd play the fuck out of that. I'd listen to that at the gym. If it was on Spotify.
No, you know what? My one big regret about the "I Feared for My Life" song is that I couldn't make the one really good gag that I really wanted to work. If you notice, like right toward like the ending, like little musical interlude, Tooney kind of like looks off camera and he like gestures like "come on," because Meltzer was going to jump up and they were going to do the lift.
Yeah, it's so funny because when you made that video, the first thing I sent to you was, "Oh, you couldn't do the lift. I can't believe."
I tried every way I tried to do it. It just did not look right.
I think a big reason that AEW fans tend to be more defensive is because in their hearts of hearts, in their souls, these summer children know that they could lose this at any moment. And they're just grasping, they're just holding on, and they have to be defensive because they know it could be gone at any time. And WWE fans don't have that fear. Even TNA fans don't have that fear, which they should. Which, by the way, TNA fans, best fans in the business. I don't know how they're just the coolest people. They're just like, whatever. If you don't like,
they're the libertarians of the wrestling world.
Yeah,
what an amazing way to put that. They're just a bunch of Ron Swansons sitting around. Oh man, awful. You're taking us political. That's not a thing we do here, but I appreciated that joke. So I mean, when dealing with wrestlers versus UFC fighters, are they kind of cut from the same brand, like kind of that alpha male, kind of like larger than life personality? Do you think do you think we're going to see in the future more UFC fighters making the transition over to WWE now that they're like combined because of that?
Yeah, I mean, you've got the super fans. Like I'm astonished Daniel Cormier hasn't made. Yeah, I'm astonished. He loves WWE. And there's the ones who aren't in the company anymore, who just grew up loving it. I mean, like Josh Barnett, who was a UFC champion, he did the full. I wasn't there, but a guy at the time worked for me. Ryan Grab, the PR guy, called me and goes, "And fucking the media day, Josh Barnett just did the hard time speech word for word in front of he did it it's on YouTube, word for word he did it." And because the open workouts are boring as fuck. That's probably why they got rid of them. Someone comes in and hits the pads, and I had fighters basically pretend they were southpaw hitting pads to see if the media in the room would go, "Are you injured? What? Yeah, why?" Not one person. And he gave me a look like, see, that was damn
That's
hard.
because Ariel Helwani wasn't allowed in the room.
Ariel was
up on that.
Ariel was not in the room. Ariel was not in the room.
That's the question I had. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, he wasn't there. But then Josh did a full fucking pro wrestling match. A full fucking pro wrestling match. And then did the Hard Times promo word for word with tears coming down his pumping his chest. Man. Yeah. So there are guys who just love WWE, and I'm sure they're bending Dana White.
Well, they reached out to Derek Lewis, I believe. He actually confirmed to the media. He's like, "Yeah, I've been talking to WWE," and he's on sort of the tail end of, I'd say, his MMA career, all-time knockout leader of the UFC. So, I mean, he would be, my balls is hot. That'll be hilarious.
He would.
Yeah. I have a question.
Derek's not the most coordinated guy in the world ever. I'll say that. I just don't know if he. I would not be taking any fucking spine busters from Derek Lewis anytime soon.
Awful. You had a question.
Yeah, who's the next big thing in the UFC right now? Like, you usually heard about Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey as almost household names. Who's coming up or who's here in the UFC that's on that level?
I mean, some of my friends like Pete Carroll will be better for that. I'm no longer paid to give a fuck, so I give as many fucks as I want now. Like I don't watch every single UFC event. I sure as hell don't. I don't watch it from 2:00 onwards. There was a time where I'd seen every UFC fight at least once, everyone, but that is years ago. There's now going to be literally thousands that I haven't seen and I'll never see, and it's a better way to live life. But a lot of people are really hot on Ian Gary.
He fights. I think it's in a couple weeks here. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if that fight still, if that card moves or what happens. With
Conor and everything.
Yeah. But Ian can't get out of his own way, PR wise. He's the kind of guy I'd love to sit down with, and say, "Okay, you're fucking things up here, mate. This is how we need to unfuck them. You need to stop. You need to stop listening to your wife." In terms of your public persona.
Okay.
Or that other guy's wife who's kind of your girlfriend or something. We don't really know. But,
right.
But what about Patty? What about Patty Pimblett as well? People are high on him, I guess.
Yeah, another guy who stumbled big time. I
know. And then he went at Ariel out of nowhere, and it was.
Well, and then he had an unimpressive fight. Then was hurt, disappeared. I don't think Paddy wins a world title. And to be a big star in the UFC, you've got to do one or two things. You've got to have a strong. It's all about, just like pro wrestling. It's about a strong emotional connection. One of the ways you do that is you just win. You just win and win and win and win, and then people want to attach to you. I don't see Paddy winning a title. I see Ian Gary winning the world title at some point.
I agree with that, with your sentiment on Patty, but can I just throw this out? I don't know if you heard about this. There's a gentleman named coming over from Japan that the UFC just signed named Kai Asakura, and he gets millions of views. Like, he's an influencer, I think, in Japan. And he's a good fighter. I believe his record's like 21-4.
Yeah.
He fought, Horiguchi. I think they're like 1-1 with each other. Whatever. He's fought legitimate Manel Cap, I believe, who's in the UFC. So legitimate competition. And they're bringing this kid over, or I think he's like 27-30 in that age range. But either way, are you familiar with him? And do you think
I know he's on his way?
On YouTube, social, on like a UFC social media, etc.
Yeah, but the thing is just talking from the YouTube side of things, you don't really want that many views from Japan. I mean, the UFC doesn't need, the UFC makes tens of millions of dollars on YouTube a year. If they did everything correctly on YouTube, they'd make hundreds of millions of dollars a year.
Right.
But to do everything right, that would mean they wouldn't be presenting videos that will appeal to people in Japan, because the not to get too inside the weeds, but the revenue per million, how much money you make for a video that has 1,000 views in Japan, is completely depressed versus US or the UK,
Right.
Ireland, Germany, places like that. So yeah, I think he can go far. Again, how many Japanese stars have come over to the UFC and just not done anything? It's been a long time since anyone's come over and really shown the same kind of performance level in the UFC as they did in Japan.
Right.
It only takes one to do it, but there's just a big jump. There's just a big jump. Can he compete in the UFC? Yeah, because UFC used to be 150 fighters, and you were the top 5%, say, of the sport. Well, now it's 600 fighters, and there are fighters now who I think should not be able to say they're UFC fighters.
Yeah, of course.
Compared to compared to years ago, but they need more fighters because they got so many more shows.
Yeah.
Now, what was your opinion on them doing experimental things like putting CM Punk in there?
Yeah.
Were you there for that?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna sit here for a while. We're gonna stay on this for a while.
I wanted to get to a regular topic, but yeah, we got to do that.
Yeah, I need to know. I need to know what the internal scuttlebutt about this was. What Dana White's reaction to the thing was. Good Lord.
Oh, it was Dana and Lorenzo Vitio used to own the UFC. It was their idea.
Yeah.
After they did it again, I got a call from some of the executives. Like when I went on Eric's channel, Eric said that I was a top UFC executive, which I hope I get back pay for that, because I never was. But I did get a call from a real executive. It was like, and the pro wrestling bullshit. I was like, yeah, I know the bullshit. It's like CM Punk. What's his background? I'm like, and I knew what they meant. They thought I was going to say, "Oh, he's an NCAA wrestler. He was, got a white belt at the YMCA." And I was like, "Nah, he's just a pro wrestler.
He's good on the stick,
he's
brother.
He's kind of small. He's not
a
like Brock
backyard
Lesnar.
wrestler from Chicago."
Yeah, I was like, he's about as far from Brock Lesnar athletically as it gets, while still being human. I was like,
well, he dropped a pipe bomb one time.
I like Phil very much. I like Phil very much.
You too,
yes, I did.
When they put him in there, it reminded me of that joke in The Waterboy, where it was like, the Waterboy did so well, so now the other teams are putting their equipment boy in there, and they're getting just pounded on the football field.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of. So
I
he
thought
goes
Ed
out.
was going to say that. I thought he was going to start the whole story off by saying a guy walks into a bar with a bad idea.
Was it? You know what? Fucking fair play to Phil. It took a
much
long
respect.
before
Much respect for him getting in there.
Yeah, but it's what a time. You announce. It's like announcing a movie is going to come out in 10 years. I'm like, well, I don't give a fuck. They announced he was coming. He was fighting before he'd even spent 1 hour in the gym. I'm like, okay, that's a year away at least. And then he got injured. So I think it was 2.5 years had passed between the announcement of it being exciting and happening. But he popped to buy rate, and he tried. And I don't know. I think it's fucking, for him, it's fucking awesome. For him, it's fucking awesome. Did it hurt the sport? Did it fuck? Did it, did it fuck? We had Sean Gannon in the UFC. His claim to blame is he beat up Kimbo on YouTube.
Exactly.
That was it. He was in the UFC.
James Tooney came in, got ankle picked, and mounted in 40 seconds.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So we're there.
Been that way.
So we've seen Jake Paul in boxing, and now we have Logan Paul in wrestling. How long do you think it is before the UFC gets into the influencer game and starts pulling some of these guys in there?
Oh man,
Dana hates it. That's the thing.
He
Dana, yeah, Dana hates it. Now, could he? Some of Dana's stances have lessened as you've been doing it now for 24 years. One thing that UFC needed more than anything was credibility back in the day. I'm not saying it doesn't need credibility now, but it has it. And once you have that credibility, you don't really lose it. So he'd be more likely to do something like that now. I mean, look, he seemed to be genuinely working on doing Elon Musk versus Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, who the fuck wants to see that?
Yeah.
Right.
I do. Me.
I mean, maybe if they absolutely had to fight to the death, maybe. Then, and the referee could get it for the win. I don't know.
Yeah, put
working on that.
Break a broomstick over your knee and throw the jagged shards on the ground and just tell him to go. Like,
yeah. I mean, so I don't know. It's more likely that the UFC does one now than ever before. I still wouldn't bet too much money that it happens.
Okay, now let me get your opinion on this because we talked about this on our first ever episode. Who do you take as somebody who worked in boxing, Jake Paul or Mike Tyson?
Oh, Jake Paul's going to hurt him.
Oh, you really think so? You don't think
Yeah.
Tyson's got that left in the tank?
Thank you.
No, I was at Tyson's last two fights. A friend of mine, Danny Williams, beat the fuck out of Mike Tyson 20 years ago.
Yeah,
20 years ago, and I was there. And Danny Williams was a British champion at a time when British champions weren't wasn't like the golden era of like every other great heavyweight being British like it is now. Danny couldn't win the European Championship, but he was a tough guy, and he has an amazing fight where he won with one arm. He fought with a dislocated arm. It looked like a hawk with a broken wing and he won with one arm. Super brave guy. And I knew that was enough to beat Tyson. And I said, "Hey man, like, why are you doing? Why are you sparring like this? You do nothing, and then the last minute you pour it on." He goes, "We've timed Tyson. We were there early in the week. We saw Tyson went on the pads. He did a minute. Next round he did 40 seconds. Next round he did 25 seconds, and then he rested. It's like." By round 4, he's got 20 seconds of effort left in him. This was 20 years ago, guys.
Right.
20 years ago.
Right.
He's been
This is
smoking.
He's not going to have. Jake Paul's going to fucking hurt him.
And especially with his ulcers that just flared up, he just went back to the hospital and that at first. And I said the same thing. I was like, look, Tyson has like 1 minute bursts in each round where he's going to come burst on Jake. That's his only chance. Otherwise, I don't know. But it's still, you don't know, right? But
I do know. I do
medical
know.
Scare. Yeah. I'm just like, I don't even want to see this fight.
No.
And Jake Paul isn't a joke. I mean, he was a joke, but anymore, he's gotten there. I mean, he's not, he's not Mike Tyson.
Well, the only guy he fought at his level beat him though. Like the only guy who really, so I mean, but I'm not, I mean, he's just, if he's going to stick to fighting like older retired fighters, okay, maybe he'll stay undefeated for a while. But I think, and I'm not even saying Jake's not legit. Like he clearly has skill, he clearly has power, he clearly puts the work in. I think Logan's more like naturally athletic than Jake is. But the thing is like I just don't see Jake beating people like when he fought Tommy Fury, split decision, however you scored it. That's about equal age, equal record, etc. And he lost that fight. And I think anybody sort of at his level, but I do give him kudos for making as much money as he can in the game or whatever. But I really don't even want to see this Tyson fight anymore. Throw it on though. It's on Netflix. I'm going to watch it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably, hate myself and watch
it's like
it
watching Power Slap.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't watch that. I mean,
I was going to ask you your opinion on Power Slap.
Just not. It's weird. Like everyone's like virtue signals. Like, oh, fucking, this is terrible. I'm like, they're grown adults. There's other stupid things they could be doing.
Of course.
What's the big deal? It's like, but what they hate that Dana's involved in it.
Yeah.
That's what. And it's like Dana also has a whiskey drink. I don't like that either. Or that Howler head. I don't particularly like it. I've had better alcoholic drinks. I don't tweet about it like I fucking hate those fucking hard, tastes horrible. It's just weird. that especially the MMA media just go out of their ways to go virtue signals like, cool, you don't like power slap. Like, how is that like the North Star of your soul all of a sudden? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah,
Don't watch it.
It is this mentality that we stand against of I don't like this, therefore it must not exist.
Yeah.
Right. Or not even I don't like this. I don't like the guy making this, so anything he makes shouldn't exist. I do love I do love Dana going out there on press and saying, like, we're going to France and there's going to be a WWE pay-per-view, there's going to be UFC, and then we're doing a power slap.
Yeah.
Like, that sells one ticket.
I can't believe he was in the conversation with the other two. My God.
Yeah.
Now, and here's a question for you. Now, you've worked in both MMA and professional wrestling in a PS capacity. One would think you're dealing with the media. Have you? So, what's it like to deal directly with Dave Meltzer?
I love Dave. Dave's a friend of mine. That's fucking thing.
Is he
like,
really? He's not gonna like to be here.
It's a good thing you're not going to be on.
He doesn't. He doesn't. Yeah. Well, I mean, God bless Eric Bischoff. He fucking
all right, you
hates
did Bischoff.
Meltzer he hates Bischoff. Bischoff hates Meltzer with a fucking passion. But he, you know, when he's talking to me, he doesn't go there. But yeah, Dave's a really good pal of mine. I've been friends with Dave for like 20 years. But
well,
yeah.
Then I won't put you. I won't put you in any awkward position. That I'm.
Yeah. Dave loves it. Dave fucking Jesus. I'm like, dude. Like, how the fuck did you put out 50,000 words a fucking week and spend all day every day fucking Twitter storming with people? Like,
what's his answer? Does he give one?
My joke? Yeah.
he just gives me a Meltzer giggle, you know.
We're being incredibly respectful right now.
Yeah.
So, and let me ask you, how familiar are you with Dr. D. David Schultz? Do you know who I'm talking about?
I don't.
Old school. We every week we do a segment called the Dr. D. Dave Schultz promo of the week.
Of course, yeah, I know the segment. Yeah.
So we've got you. I know you got to go pretty soon. Do you want us to do the Dave Schultz promo with you, or should we wait and maybe talk about something else?
I'm game for that. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. We got Dave Schultz this week. This week it's a little bit more out there. We are going not in front of the television studio, but we're going at home with Dr. D. Dave Schultz. Yeah, we've gotten there. We've gotten to that point now, guys.
All right.
At home. All right, let me just boot this up and... there we go.
Yes, I love this promo.
I know you do.
The Wrestling Federation today has got to be the native of Nashville, Tennessee, at 267 pounds, Dr. David Schultz. Now, recently, our television cameras had an opportunity in suburban or rural Nashville, Tennessee, if you will, visit Dr. David Schultz, members of his family. And we wanted to share that particular videotape footage with you at this time. A little insight to the real Dr. David Schultz with his family. I think you're going to find the following piece quite interesting, to say the least.
Shut up, Uncle Ruckus.
I am already loving this. Shut up, Uncle Ruckus.
Welcome back.
Uh-oh. Are you calling me a liar? Good Lord. I would love to know who this actress is. Like, where they got her and what they told her about, like, what this segment was going to be.
She lived down the street, got $1.25 and a pack of Camels.
Yeah, pretty much.
She played Olive Oil at Universal Studios, I believe.
Oh, that was a good one, Dis.
This might be the last time anybody wore an Alice band.
Yeah.
And we captured it. It's amazing.
We did. I love just like the cathartic glee in his face as he like does the backhand and just imagines destroying his wife and children.
Sometimes you just gotta get a shot across the eyes.
House here is a very expensive house if you had it built. But the doctor's done everything that can be done.
Why am I hearing like like ring announcing in the background.
He's right outside the arena.
That he has never introduced his wife. He just continuously keeps calling her the woman.
Because she's a hooker, I rented for the evening to be my wife. I don't have her name. By the way, why is there A1 sauce for pizza?
You know, now I'm wondering if that might be good.
I'm just impressed by the generosity of David Schultz to invite us into dinner.
for what is it? Fried chicken and pizza? With
Hey.
Dr. Pepper and A1 sauce.
You gonna turn him down?
So wait,
No.
she cooked all this, right? Like, how did she make it that quick while he was just saying, he just licked off those couple 3 lines, right? I mean,
Well, I mean, if she made it that quick, I understand why the sink is full of dishes.
okay.
The city dump.
The city. What is this? The city? No, Awful's using that tonight.
Oh yeah.
But
Okay, I know it's normally reserved for super chats, but Ernest Cruz is right. She looks like Rockin' Robin.
that might be Rockin' Robin. That's a good pull.
Because this was probably before they really had a women's division besides Moolah. And they were probably just calling in, they were telling Moolah, we need a woman this week. Bring somebody in. That could be Rockin' Robin.
Someone Google who played Dave Schultz's wife in At Home with Dave Schultz. Because
Good luck with that.
well, no, because if it's Rockin' Robin, I feel like we'd know. Like that would be somewhere.
I'm fairly certain it is not Rockin' Robin.
Okay.
I knew. Yeah, Rockin' Robin was a little bit more cheeky in the face.
I don't
know. I got shit.
Oh my God.
In the
Oh,
World
it was
Wrestling Federation.
fantastic. I love it so much. Oh. So now, what I had
That
heard
kid
is
grew up to be Tony Khan's acting coach.
clearly, it's so funny because like you look at like that. I feel like that was a vignette that was ahead of its time, like something that you shouldn't be seeing in like pre-1985 WWF. Like that's like something that we would have seen more in the 90s. But oh my God,
Yeah.
that was now he said that people called the cops after that ad, saying that there were 2 children and a wife being beaten in Tennessee by Dave Schultz, and he's like, that ain't even my, because like when the police like contacted Vince looking for the address, and Vince had to smarten the police up.
That reminds me of the
That would have been relief for Vince when the police called, and that's all they wanted.
It reminds me a lot of the At Home with the Von Erichs stuff they did in World Class Championship Wrestling. I don't know why, but
back.
yeah, that's what it reminds me of.
Back.
And it was around that time. So anyway,
Oh my God. Oh man, I absolutely, and I know you guys got a lot of super chats that have built up, but we will be getting to them momentarily. And how much more time do we have? Do you have to get going? Do we have any more time?
I have to go pick my kid up, unfortunately. I'd love to
well,
stay here
thank you so
bullshitting
much,
with
man.
guys.
You are welcome back on this show anytime.
yeah,
This is a fantastic chat.
I personally would love to have Anton, just for now that we got all the marking out questions out of the way, just for a bullshit fun messing around episode. I'd love to have Ant back on.
All right, guys.
I missed all my TNA questions, man. I had so much to ask. Because I'm a staunch defender of TNA. And
Me too, man.
Run the comparison to AEW got a lot of love that TNA never got. I don't quite understand it. So yeah, I apologize for having to do having to be a professional who earns paycheck today.
How dare you, sir?
I have a worse excuse. I've got to go pick my kid up from camp.
Hey, we do have a really
I'll be an unpaid babysitter for my own kid now.
We do have a really quick super chat left for him.
Sure.
I want to run that real quick.
Do we? I even see. Hold on. Oh yeah, no, I did see this one. I think. Well, let me find it. Ant, settle a fight, Jim or Josh Barnett.
It's one leg kick finish, right? One leg kick at the end.
There was this big Neckbeard. I mean, Dis put it best. Neckbeard was spitting gold in the chat.
He was talking about how Jim Barnett would have been better rolling around in a cage with sweaty men than Josh Barnett.
Oh my boy! Fantastic. And anything you want to plug? Any like social media or anything like that you want to get out there on the way out?
Check out Eric Bischoff's going to do a live immediately after. No, the book. I make no money off that. No.
Oh, okay.
Steal it or just email me. I'll send you a PDF for free. No, so Eric Bischoff is live immediately after the Who Killed WCW 2, and I believe we're working on Ric Flair calling in to the show to have a big argument with Eric.
I can't wait.
Yeah, tomorrow or the day after. Yeah, Paul Conrad is.
Is that on fire today?
Yeah.
Oh, come on now, Eric. That's not very fair. Be a little more fair to Rick, please, Eric. Come on now.
I mean, hey, Conrad is married to Rick's wife, so it's going to be.
I know.
Well, yeah,
I imagine excruciating for Conrad the whole time. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's going to be worth it just for the awkwardness of it all. Right, and thank you so much. We appreciate having you here. Come back anytime. Open invitation.
All right, guys.
Thank you so much.
You're a legend.
I guess.
Wow.
Good.
Yeah,
So good.
no, that was such a fun. We've got a slew of super chats to get to now, guys. Oh, Kevin Apollo's just leaving now. Look at him.
Yeah, he left.
Coming off. It's like, I didn't get to ask my TNA questions. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go put a tank top on.
So
by the way, you coming
rip it
into
off.
this show. You coming into this show in a long sleeve shirt broke the chat. I don't know if you saw. It broke the chat. Like it was the only thing anyone was. I think we have super chats about it. For the love of God. Like,
before we get too far away, because we just talked about the whole Eric Bischoff, Ric Flair thing. Did anybody see the drama yesterday between Ric Flair and Vince Russo?
I did.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw that he had one of his like, cut one of his like Twitter promos on it, but he said about like too.
Poured his heart out to Ric Flair, and just got. I've never seen Russo be like. He was just like, I am so sorry. I didn't realize you didn't like working with me. I tried so hard with David.
You didn't realize Ric Flair has made no bones about how little he appreciated Vince Russo in his life. Come on,
it's insane. So I just thought we should bring that up real quick before we get to the super chat.
The Monday Night War documentary. Remember when Vince Russo, a writer, a clown, like. Yeah.
I know, and Vince Russo was just like, if you read his tweet, it sounds like a jilted lover trying to get some, and he's like, I never knew. I thought I was so good to David. I thought I was so
good to David. I thought he was gonna be a star.
Wrestling, bro. You were the best wrestler.
In Russo's defense, he did more than anybody should have. Trying to make David a star.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's like, come on, dude. The give me. I'll change if it makes everybody feel better. Just let me. I'll scream obscenity from the side.
At least Dr. D wore a tank top this week.
I don't know what. And small booty shorts. I'm sure Lisa's freaking out in the chat right now that he's not changing in front of the camera. Sorry. I've been reading her thirst trap.
She's fantastic.
Comments. I look at the chat once in a while, people. I know what you all say in there. Good Lord. All right. All right. So John JID 999 with $5 says, what expectations do you all have for the Scotland PLE? Also, Tony Khan has the money to hire a social media manager and stay off the phone, you child. There we go. Look, the universe is back to normal. Kevin Apollo was wearing a small tank top in the chat.
I'm sorry.
Neckbeards is in the chat trying to sell off him being in a tank top. He's like, you put $20 and he'll be in a tank top.
Dude, our chat has become just like this wretched hive of scum and villainy, and I'm here for it. I love you all. You guys are my kind of degenerates, and I love it. That's why I call everybody monsters, because good Lord. All right, so expectations for this Scotland PLE, Kevin Apollo. What are you thinking?
I just froze. Can you hear me?
You're frozen in a big smile once again, much like last time. I mean, go ahead, Awful, make the joke.
No, I've got nothing to say this time.
I'm
no hat. What's the matter?
You're the only one allowed to make the joke.
No, he's still allowed to make the joke.
I'll do it. This is not that joke. He looks like the in Mario 64, the like ghoulish ghosts, not the white ones, but the black ones with the big smiles on their
Well, why you gotta be the black ones?
because that's the one that had the smile on their face.
Oh yeah, no, that's why it reminds him of wow, wow. But yes, if you want to back out and come back in, Kev, you probably won't be as frozen anymore.
All right, I'll be right back.
Okay. Awful. What are you thinking about the Scotland PLE? Are you excited for it? I mean, let's run down the card real quick. Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, Bayley, Piper Niven, Sami Zayn, Chad Gable with Otis, Akira Tozawa, and Maxine Dupree. Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill versus Alba Fire and Isla Dawn versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Again, by the way, a pay-per-view with no never mind. Yes, no, there is Bayley. I don't know why I almost said no Bayley. Just that match is so forgettable with Piper Niven that I'm just like I completely
That's the
glossed
one I'm
over it.
actually looking forward to.
I'm looking forward to that too.
No, I like Piper Niven. I think that I just think Nia's already kind of perfected the big lady, like super powerful, strong. I don't know why you put Bayley against her when she's got Nia coming down the pipe.
Because she's from Scotland.
Oh yeah, she's from Scotland. All right, point withdrawn. Awful. What are your expectations of this pay-per-view?
Bro, I didn't even know a pay-per-view was happening this weekend. So
wow,
I mean,
I'm stunned
seriously.
at the amount of at the amount of detail you put in as an expert panelist on this show.
That's a good one. But I mean, since you ran down the card, I mean, I'm looking forward to Bayley versus Piper Niven. When's the time of this thing? When's this happen?
It's about
During the
noon.
daytime. Yeah.
Noon
Okay.
Eastern, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna be live
Gotcha.
streaming it.
Of course you will.
Oh, yeah. You guys are all welcome, of course.
Now I'm hoping that this is. Do you think we finally get Drew McIntyre crowned? Do you think he finally gets his world title at this, like for an
Yes.
extended period of time in front of people?
No.
No, you
I
don't.
think
You,
he'll get
you don't think he gets it?
No, I think he gets the world title. I don't think he gets it for an extended period of time.
Okay, so what do you think happens?
I
then?
think he loses it to Punk as soon as Punk is healthy.
Oh well, yeah, of course. I mean, but I think you could do that at WrestleMania. I think you could draw that out to Mania. I think depending on Punk's return. I mean, if he's ready by SummerSlam, then maybe SummerSlam. But I don't know. I feel like you could draw that out. I personally think we have to. I mean, Kevin's going to disagree with me when he gets back, but I personally think it's time to end the Damian Priest experiment. I think you need to have
Really?
yeah, I think you got to have Balor or something turn on him, and that way he could spin off into that feud away from the title. I just think
Why can't it be done with the title? I mean,
because
if you're
I
looking
think
for a
Drew needs
change
the
in-
world title. I don't think you get out of another Scotland pay-per-view with Drew McIntyre for the world title without him winning it.
Yeah, and they're clearly breaking Priest away from Judgment Day. I mean, so like when do you get there?
They
What
cost the
is
match, huh?
what is the cataclysmic event that makes him go, all right, fuck this crew? It's somehow them costing him his world title is like another big step in sort of just him always having to clean up their slack and etc. So they're clearly spinning him off that way, and I think him losing the world title in Scotland is inevitable, but I do see something funky happening, like because the Money in the Bank's coming up too, and I do agree with like a Punk Drew feud doesn't need the world title, but it makes sense. I mean, if it's there, sure. But yeah,
But
I
Phil-
do
Phil,
see
so
Drew
much-
being a champion again, though. I could see him winning the belt and then him dropping it some funky way again. I don't know. That's just my opinion, but yeah. Sorry, what were we gonna ask?
Phil, so much of this like feud between the two of them has been built around the idea of the world title, on the idea of the main event of WrestleMania. I think that I would say this. I would argue this does need the world title. Kevin
Okay.
Apollo, welcome back. Yes, you are moving again. Apparently,
He's
All right.
back
What do we-
and
what do we
in
got
a tank top.
So I don't think you were talking. You said specifically that it's time to end the Damian Priest experiment, and Damian Priest
I
is the
did.
world champion. I agree, but I do think that having Damian Priest as a babyface and pushing him harder, Priest comes off as a natural babyface to me,
I agree.
and
Yeah, I
breaking him
agree.
away from the Judgment Day. Yeah, breaking him away from the Judgment Day, building him up, especially. I mean, have you seen him in Puerto Rico?
Yeah,
Have you
that's what I
seen-
mean. We're gonna get him and Bad Bunny teaming against like Finn and JD or something. Event, like
Yeah.
we know that's coming.
Yeah, and
I
think
mean, I would love
sky's
to
the limit.
see. Yeah, I would really like to see, let's say Drew beats Priest for the title, and then you can do like somehow with some chicanery, the rematch is like Drew, Priest, and Balor. So you can kind of still involve those guys in the main event scene until Punk is ready to come in and take his place.
You don't think Punk is going to cost Drew the belt?
I mean, I
That's
think he's
what
gonna. I don't know. He might do it again. It might be the thing.
Here's the
I don't
match that's getting glossed over. No, sorry to interrupt, but like the Alba Fire Isla Dawn match is getting glossed over. But here's the thing: I just want to shout out quickly. Alba Fire's mother actually and her father were just hit by a car in Florida like the other day.
God.
And
No, it happened last month, May 17th.
Yeah, oh, sorry. So a few weeks ago, rather, and her mother did not make it. Actually, she passed. So just condolences, and she's wrestling her match. They are from the Scotland. I think they're both from Scotland or grew up around the Glasgow area. And I am saying put the tag titles on them because for a long time I've been saying you need to build the tag division around Alba Fire, Isla Dawn, and Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. And so I hope they get the big hometown sort of win with the triple threat women's tag title match. And then because you have to think they're going to give someone a big hometown win. So I just wanted to bring that up, that maybe that could ease the pain a bit if Drew does get screwed over, right? I don't know, but I don't know if that would tip the scales enough for people to still not boo. I think Drew has to win or it's going to be a riot. You know what I mean?
Drew's winning, I think. Man, if they're going to push Chance and Carter, they got to do something with that gimmick. That is
not them, but
terrible gimmick.
You mean
I know, but you mentioned Chance. You mentioned building the division around them two and Chance and Carter.
Yeah. I do agree with Phil because if you go back to like the 80s, go back to the 80s and how just robust the tag division was back then. They had so many tag teams that were over. They really should have had 2 tag titles. You can kind of re-emulate that, or rather, you can kind of emulate that with the women's division. But you need, listen, you've got to tell the natural stories. What the hell is her new name? Katana and they're small. They can be your rocker-esque tag team who gets smacked around by every heel out there. Awesome. It's just beat them up. That's what they're there for. They're tiny, they're cute, they're there to get sympathy.
Do something with
moves, baby face pops,
but do something with them rather than have them dancing at raves over and over and over again because that's so cringy.
We have to get them away from the rave thing. It's like they're not showing up. They're not showing up high, and they're not frankly showing you their bits for beads. So no one cares.
White meat babyface. White meat babyface all the way. Just make them the rockers. That's all you need to do.
Yeah. They're definitely being miscast. But yeah, I would put if you're gonna give anybody from hometown the belts, I would give it to Fire. Obviously, what's your name?
Piper Niven is not winning that women's title.
Yeah. Piper Niven is not beating Bayley. Even though we haven't done much with Bayley. I don't know. I personally think that Drew doesn't need the title. The Drew's feud with Punk is more important than Drew having the title right now, because the second Drew gets the title, it should be time to go to war with Punk. I think screwing Drew over one more time. I think that's where the story is.
The heat on that, dude. I agree with you, Apollo.
I think
and we haven't seen Punk in a couple of weeks. Now all of a sudden, Punk is in his hometown and cost him, and not even that, gets Drew to cost himself his title match.
The only thing about that I will say, and the reason I don't think Punk's going to be there is because at this point with CM Punk, if he's going to be there, at least advertising for the pre-show so people know there's a chance, and you get those extra viewers, because he's a draw. He's one of the only draws they like. WWE is a draw, but they don't have a lot of wrestlers that are draws. And Punk is
what makes you think he's a draw? He didn't draw for AEW.
Go look at the ratings. Go look at when he's on TV. Go look at the spike in those ratings and look how.
And to be fair to Phil did draw for AEW. It's just AEW is such a shit show that if he was on, they got $1 million or they got close to $1 million. No one there has even remotely come close to doing that.
Right.
Yeah, if he was going to be, like I said, you don't have to give away that he's going to be in the match, but they already advertised who's going to be on the pre-show, and they didn't say Punk.
Do we have an update on the ticket sales? Because it wasn't drawing.
They said it's sold out, didn't they?
Oh, okay, because they had it set up for like 11,000, and I had actually got some DMs from some listeners who were saying, Phil, look, like it's too pricey. I live locally. I'm not even gonna go. Like I'll just rather watch it on the whatever. And they were at like 8,000 tickets sold, and I think they're set up for like just below 12,000. And I know that WWE wanted this to be like their biggest gate or whatever, like whatever record they said about Backlash.
I'm looking right now. Cultaholic said that as of May 9th, they had almost 10,000 tickets sold.
Yeah, and Drew on Monday in Drew's promo, he said that it was sold out.
Okay. So I just wanted the update on that. Like I was like, it's getting closer. I'm sure closer to the date, it's going to be all sold out completely. But I was kind of people were talking like, oh, it's not selling as good as it should be. It's really pricey. It's really expensive. But I mean, WWE can afford to do that at this point. You know what I mean? Like they're so hot right now. So I'm sure it'll be
119 people. No, I'm looking at 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but what was last year's attendance?
Oh, what was last year? I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me look that up. Vamp for me, Phil.
Was it over 11,000? I mean,
Marv, you'll update me there on. So what are they at in 2024? You said the number there. I didn't catch it. They're
11,000.
11,000. There you go.
11,119.
Boom. So if they sold that many, that's a sellout because that's whatever they had it set up for. It was like just shy of 12,000. And then the Cardiff numbers awful. I'm not sure, but Marv will pull them up. But I think what their goal was to have a bigger gate. You guys remember at Backlash, they're like, this is the biggest PLE gate international, whatever. I think they wanted this one to break that one, but it's actually not going to do that. Yeah, I don't know. They might have priced themselves out. Who knows?
I'm having a hard time finding this.
I think overall though, if Drew doesn't win though, I think we're gonna see I don't know, online. I don't know if WWE's listening to the Twitterverse. It seems as though they are a little bit. And I just think everyone's going to melt down and they're going to be like, yo, Triple H fumbled and everything. So I just think I do agree fully that the Punk Drew feud is hotter than anything else. If it was me, if I had the pencil, I would have Punk screw Drew again. That's just me. I'm a troll. But
let's not forget let's not forget too, they still have another pay-per-view before SummerSlam. Punk can still screw Drew out of that title. Drew can win it in Scotland and then lose it at Money in the Bank or lose it at SummerSlam to go
right.
there.
And that might be bigger too at SummerSlam to do it there because that's like a moment as well. You gotta think like SummerSlam is, to appease. We'll see how many times they have 2-night SummerSlams, but to appease Minneapolis there, instead of giving them a WrestleMania, they're like, oh yeah, we'll give you a 2-night SummerSlam, pal.
But hold on,
that's 2 years from now.
Wow.
That's
okay.
I know, but you need the moments at SummerSlam. SummerSlam's one of the big four, if you will, or however you break it down. SummerSlam and Mania are like the two, and I'd say probably Royal Rumble as well. So like SummerSlam is all about the moments too. So Punk screwing Drew at SummerSlam, and then Drew gets that reign in there. I could see that too, and that's actually not a bad idea.
And Gunther getting the title. That would be Gunther,
So guys, I can't find 2023 numbers, but 2022 apparently was when they did Principality Stadium in Cardiff. And that was 62,296 fans.
Yeah.
Which of course, of course, Dave Meltzer it, and said it was 49,000.
Whatever, it might have been, it was, Tony Khan.
Mm-hmm. Did they do a Clash at the Castle last year, or was the last one 2022?
2022.
Yeah. Okay. So that's why I couldn't find 2023 numbers because getting my years mixed up. Yeah. So the last one was in a stadium. It was 62,296 fans. So this is gonna be nowhere near as big as that. I mean, that is kind of definitely a step back.
Right. Well, it's a paid show, so
it's also true.
But
you know what? Those Scotsmen are gonna be rowdy that night. And if Punk does screw him over, by the way, they better get him out of Scotland quick.
And if there's anybody who's going to want to outdo the French crowd, it's the Scottish crowd.
Oh, God. Let's show those Frenchies what it really means to ruin a match with fan chants.
Yeah, boy, oh boy.
So Shaggy Phil 73 for $2 says, think Bo will do Bray proud next week. I am nervous.
Yes.
I don't know, man. Look, Bray Wyatt's an irreplaceable talent. They don't have any of the creative minds behind the Wyatt Six. That Bo was not booking the Wyatt Six.
No, but he said, I mean, if you believe the documentary, he did say that him and Bray came up with a lot of the stuff, like just
for the Uncle Howdy stuff, which was notoriously awful.
Was it that bad?
I don't think it was that bad.
The
problem
with Uncle Howdy. The problem with Uncle Howdy was nobody was listening to Bray. They were just doing random things.
And we never got the payoff. We never saw where it went.
If there was a payoff after the Mountain Dew Cosmic Bowling night, the people would feel better about it. It just kind of stopped. We were like, well, what the F was that? Listen, I think we need to also give Bo the runway he needs to be Bo. Bo is a great promo by himself. He's very charismatic. He's very creative. People have to kind of relax and be like, hey, this is not Bray. It's Bo. But you know what? The Bo was there to help his brother work on a lot of this stuff. If anybody's going to understand how to tune into what his brother wanted to try to accomplish, it's going to be Bo. So it's just like let everyone's just cool the hell out and let him do it, and hope for the best, hope that it works. But you can't. People are kind of putting him behind the 8 ball that he doesn't deserve to be behind yet. It's like give this time to breathe. Give it time to breathe. Let's see what they're going to do with it. Again, there's a lot of hype. I think we're all still divided on whether or not we give a crap about it.
I'm rooting for Bo. I am rooting for him. I'm just scared of what it might mean.
The question specifically was, will Bo do Bray proud? And the answer is yes. Bo is going to do Bray proud. Whether or not WWE does Bray proud, that's another question. But Bo?
The people that made Bray's stuff special up to that point were 2 people. You had Bray Wyatt and you had Nick Manfredini, the writer. Neither of them are there anymore. So I don't know. It's gonna be very different. I think it should be very different. It should be something completely new. If he goes out there and he tries to be, Swamp Bray, or he tries to be Firefly Funhouse Bray or the Fiend, it's not gonna work.
No.
Yeah, you gotta
be your own thing.
If they push too hard, it's gonna be any horror movie that's a 200 and not the number 2. We don't need a direct to video release of a sequel. Just let it do its thing.
It's going to be Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
Oh God!
Compared to Rob Zombie's Halloween 1.
The worst thing that ever. I legitimately believe, because he notoriously did not want to make a second one. And they were like, all right, fine, we'll just make it without you. And he was like, oh, no, okay, I'll do it. And I'm like, he went in there and he purposely made the worst movie possible to kill this franchise so that nobody else could keep doing it.
I liked the first one, though. I liked his first rendition, like his take.
Oh, I love that one. I like that one when we saw him as a kid and everything. I enjoyed that one. Look, a lot of Halloween purists will yell at me about that. Like, oh, no, it wasn't good. You're not supposed to see Michael Myers talking and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I liked it. Look, it was a little, yes, they went full trailer park with it because that's Rob Zombie. But, it was, I liked it. I don't know. I thought it was good. Plenty of Pixel Art checking in going PWT.
Yeah.
There you go. Your public is
they follow me around, dude.
They do. Well, Plenty in Pixel. To be fair, Phil, cool your jets. Plenty in Pixel Arts here every week. So
it was $50 last week. So
he did. No, a couple of weeks ago. All right. So Donnie Soares, $1.99. Thank you so much. Says Apollo not wearing a tank. Is it even Kevin? People thought you were an imposter. I believe it. John JID 999 for $2 says, so happy you all are on Spotify now. Yes, that is a thing. We are on every major podcast platform now as part of the Wrestling Soup Network. We are on iHeart Podcast. We're on iHeart Radio, Apple, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast, the iHeartRadio app, the Spreaker app, we're everywhere with Wrestling Soup. We are happy to be a part of that family for the audio version of this show. So thank you guys so much, and thanks, Mish and everybody over there at Wrestling Soup.
But listen here, dirtbags. If in the chat right now, don't let that make you think that you can run off and not be in the chat every week. You should be here still.
You guys make the show great by being here in the chat. We love having you guys in the chat. I don't think you're dirtbags. That's this, and
that's
don't
me.
Worry.
You're degenerate dirtbags, and I love you for it. Okay.
Share with your friends. Click the bell. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit the like button. Follow.
Yeah. We're almost at 4,000 subscribers, so make it happen.
Run those numbers up. And we were talking about YouTube earlier, and one thing that should be noted as well is that more people consume just audio on YouTube than any other audio streaming platform as well.
That's fascinating.
So yeah, I'm sure everybody, all of the glorious Tooney Talk chat won't be going anywhere. I'm sure they'll be sticking around regardless. So
hopefully. Eastside Reviews, this was during the Dave Schultz
the
weirdest MTV episode ever.
Yeah, I know Ant had to go. I wanted to start riffing on David Schultz doing an MTV Cribs. I thought that would have been hilarious, but yeah, I knew Ant was a little pressed for time.
Uncultured Barbarian for $5. Thank you so much. Have you boys seen the old AWA segment with Sergeant Slaughter train Greg Gagne out in the woods? Yeah. That was some funny stuff, but not as funny as this. I've never seen that. I got to find that.
Let me tell you, there's nothing better than old wrestling promos where we go into the woods, we go to someone's farm, we go to someone's house.
Yeah. Anything outside the ring.
Yeah. It's just especially especially when they want to let the wrestlers have a little more freedom with the character.
Yeah.
And especially when someone pulls a gun.
Hey, you know what? I thought Sean recaptured the magic of those when he sent Tiffany Stratton to the ranch, the horse ranch.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? That was great. I thought that was fantastic. Uncultured Barbarian also saying, damn it, now I want to see a Lord of the Rings where Dave Schultz plays Gandalf. Man, I'm telling you, I need to meet an animator who is like, okay, well, I'll go in halvesies with you and we'll you write, I'll animate, and we'll make these cartoons because I would 100. I am a servant of the spirit fire, wielder of the flame of Arnoth. Dark fire will not avail you, flame of Uldoon.
You need to call it the Continuing Adventures of Dr. D.
Oh my God, I would do a whole cartoon series of Dave Schultz as like a bounty hunter going through like all the like different like fictional like play. Oh my God,
Dave Schultz is Boba Fett.
Oh man, Boba Fett wishes. I can take you in warm, or I can take you in cold. Like he's the Mandalorian. He puts that man would put the man in Mandalorian. I'll tell you that much right there.
Sasha Banks just comes up and he just smacks her across the face.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, he ain't taking that shit. He ain't that. Bo-Katan, why am I supposed to respect you, Miss Bo-Katan? Could you? By the way, he's not going back for Grogu. He's turning him into the Empire and leaving with his money. Dave Schultz is not growing a heart. Like we're not telling a lone wolf and cub here. We're telling just lone wolf who fed the cub to other wolves. Uncultured Barbarians, and I grew up with guys who had dads like this. Oh, we all did. We all grew up with guys who had dads like that.
I had a dad like that. That was me.
Good Lord. John JID 999 says that was duck hunting with the Von Erichs on steroids. Oh God. John D. Lee, $10. Thank you so much. He says it's amazing how AEW equals all empty wrestling is doing far worse with their midget factions and repetitive flippy flop. It makes me appreciate old and new TNA, Tony Khan, I don't know what he means there.
Tony Khan continues to Tony Khan.
Oh, Tony Khan continues to. Yeah, Tony got a Tony.
Booker in the World Booker of the Year 2 years in a row. Ha ha! Didn't you know?
Well, you know what? He got his phone back this week, and we're gonna get to that after one more super chat. And also Donnie Star is saying, "Rest in peace, Alba's mom." Yes, we all totally rest in peace for Alba's mom. Whose dog is barking right now?
My dogs are fighting on my bed.
Well, maybe you should Dave Schultz your way out of this one and just, let them know who's boss here.
Make me smack you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hold it down.
Oh, good Lord. All right.
My dog
So,
is a good boy.
wow. Is that Boba Fett the dog?
That's Boba Fett the dog.
I don't. You've got so many animals in that house, or you did at one point. Is it still like an animal like menagerie over there?
God damn
Menagerie.
No, we yeah. At one point, we had 4 dogs, 2 cats, fish. Oh God, what the hell else was here?
I remember being like, "How are you putting up with this?"
So this is why I go to work.
I appreciate that we have the only chat on YouTube that doesn't freak out the second a dog comes on screen. That's wonderful.
What do you mean freak out? Like they want more of the dog?
Oh yeah. Oh, doggo, get the doggo. We need the doggo.
Oh no, the last time Boba Fett the dog made an appearance, people were freaking out.
Okay, well they're not this time. So
no, I guess not. That means they don't like. I don't trust people that don't like dogs. By the way.
Oh, there they go. Now let's go.
Yeah, we go.
I said so.
I told you. I told you it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, now you got my dog barking. My dog was being a good boy over here, and now it's
all right. So let's get to Tony Khan and his Twitter, his Twittering, because for so long, we all thought that Tony Khan was, he'd learned a lesson. Maybe he had matured. Maybe someone took his phone away from him. Well, they took it back. Because this week he came back with a vengeance.
Sure did.
And let's see what he had to say. All right. So my favorite one, I'm going to start with my favorite one. I book wrestling for the sickos because that's what I am. And that's who I care about.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's great. I'm going to puke. Let's do it.
Did somebody say that like sickos watch AEW or I don't know? Like,
okay, so it's people. Okay, the idea is that at least in the early 2000s, if you were a big wrestling fan, more so than the average wrestling fan, you'd say I had the sickness. And I think he's referring to that, knowing that Coach Tony K over there was a big wrestling online guy in the chat rooms and stuff like that. Now, my question about this is what exactly brought this on?
No idea. Some account with 4 followers called AEW fan, like, oh, if you like those death matches, you must be a sicko.
Yeah,
I guarantee you.
Because it was on a Thursday. Like he's saying Rampage, Collision, Dynamite. This wasn't like usually it's maybe during NXT that he does it or after Dynamite that he goes a little crazy. This came out of nowhere. And I'm trying to figure out why.
He was on that good shit that night.
Yeah,
you said it. You said it in the first comment here. You said he's on his shit tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy, Dave Nerdy Geek, defined sicko, mentally ill or perverted person, especially one who is sadistic. So maybe Tony should be watching himself when he says these things.
Yeah,
Tony,
my kind of guy.
Give me your phone back tonight. I need to not fuck this up.
Right.
Do not fuck this up. You promise me you're not going to fuck this up. Yes, Baba. Baba.
Okay, so someone in the chat, I'll say it, Matthew Hostetter said that he was quoting Tommy Boy.
Okay,
so he must have just watched Tommy Boy and decided that he was.
Oh no, Tommy Boy and Time Cop; those are my 2 favorite movies.
Tony.
Yeah, but he watched Tommy Boy and thought it was Caddyshack.
I'm like David Spade and Eddie Kingston is my Chris Farley.
I'm like, I got to tell you guys, people have been like, oh my God, I can't wait for the headlines this week to see what you do with this. I am in the process of editing it now. I'll be finishing editing it tonight after the pro show. And
it's the most offensive thing I've ever heard.
I gotta tell you, like Dis has seen the joke. It's good. It's one of my better ones, I think. So, like the second he said this, I was like, oh, I know what I'm doing here. This is gonna be good. All right. Next, he said, as Disciplinary pointed out, wake up the bots and tell them we're having fun over here in AEW. I think this was in response to Meltzer saying that the WWE is leaking fake numbers to the press, which is ridiculous.
And
Triple
I've
H has been a
exposed
big-
these
Oh,
clowns
the
use bots,
irony
dude.
on this.
what were you saying? Oh, Phil,
I
what
was
was you
just
saying?
saying, like, myself and a lot of people exposed that fucking AEW and Wrestling Observer use bots.
Yeah.
We've all
Yes, we're about to point that out. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Comment. Chris Jericho is a genius. This
Tony Khan likes to talk about bots, but let's see. The situation where Punk made a reference to Jack Perry and Wembley with no reaction is indeed amusing. It highlights the fact that not everyone is aware of or interested in the same things, and that sometimes our expectations of how others will respond to, and it just ends.
Right.
The next one, the situation where Punk made a reference to Jack Perry and Wembley with no reaction. It continues. It continues to keep going on.
By a hairdresser. A comment by a hairdresser, you know what I mean?
And we had Ant on, and he's talked about like the botting stuff, and it would have been interesting to bring that up to him as well, and just like what that does to like social media platforms and whatnot. And but yeah, it's just like even Observer has had obvious bots where it's the same thing, copy and paste messages.
Yeah,
it always happens around when something big in AEW is going on.
I made a post earlier about the Chris Jericho ones this week because they are clearly they're the most obvious ones I've ever seen. Because
more obvious than the ones that end mid sentence and repeat.
Yeah, because okay, you didn't see this. They include, like, obviously you can tell that this was written for them because they include the part that says comment and then the comment afterward.
Oh no, come on.
No, they included it. They included the part. They're obviously on a sheet that says here's what you need to comment, and they kept comment Chris Jericho is a genius. This new learning tree gimmick is hilarious. Like, and they're all.
Oh man,
that was his wife, his two children.
No, but you know what? Like, no. Here's the thing. Okay, so all big companies use bots. WWE uses bots. Disney uses bots. You know, you even see like Kotaku using bots. The difference is they don't go on Twitter and scream about bots.
Exactly.
They don't bring attention to it.
I'm not going to fault you for using bots, okay? It's the thing everybody's doing lately. Do I like it? No. Does it clog up Twitter with spam? Yes. Is Master of the TDS doing a wonderful job in exposing it and pointing it out? Absolutely. However, it's hypocrisy that I hate. And Tony Khan is king hypocrite with things like this.
And it's hard with those bots too, because now we have this whole new thing where like these companies can pay, like it's like real people, but it's just like a burner account, like it's just a Muppet account, and then you
whoa, let's watch when we throw the M word around.
And then they spam as well, so like they can't get pulled down as quickly because they can prove, well, no, it's a person behind this account, and they're just spamming shit. So there's that going on too, and it's always evolving along with social media and the internet, something that's almost impossible to prevent. But yeah, I just agree with your sentiment exactly.
I don't know if you guys. So there's a Twitter account that I enjoy and YouTube account that I respect. Gothic Therapy is the YouTube account. Master of the TDS is the Twitter account. He has like made it his mission in life to expose the botting that's going on from Hollywood, and it's insane. He's exposed it to the point where like Elon Musk has like taken note of it and like promised to do something about it. Like people at Twitter like contact him. He's cited by pretty much everybody, in the YouTube Hollywood sphere. So it's a serious problem that's happening now. But the thing is, it is just the rampant, like, you're using bots, Tony. You know you're doing it. Yeah. Why are you baby facing yourself and trying to say that everyone's using bots for you? Come on.
Because it's on his mind, and it's called projection. And that's what Meltzer does all the time. And that's what Tony does all the time. It's always like, oh, bald apple, we're constantly under attack. Here's a MJF promo where he's going to bring up Vince McMahon, though. Like, it's just, that's what it is.
More importantly, Tony has, I find it weird that they even use bots. Because Tony has 400,000 bots ready to do whatever he tells them to do, whereas the WWE audience isn't going to do that. And that's why he calls the WWE audience bots, is because his people, the people that he cares about, will believe it. His audience will believe, oh, well, none of these people saying bad things about AEW are real because Tony said so. Whereas, the WWE fans, obviously, I've been called a bot. I think, is there anybody here that hasn't been accused of being a bot?
We all get called bots all the time.
Yeah, and it's not even an insult at this point. Some of them
I will say
think we are.
I will say my pronouns are beep bop boop.
Oh, well, then you just got thrown off of Disney Plus. So I hope you enjoyed that.
Okay. By the way, Eastside Reviews checking in with a super chat. Definitely the wrong show for it, but he says, random question, favorite of the DCAU. He means DC Animated Universe shows. This is not Tooney Talk TV. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this. I want to go rapid fire.
Yeah. He needs to confirm. Are you counting the Zeta Project in there?
Of course
You do.
Of course, yeah.
All right.
So rapid fire, one at a time, starting with go Dis, Awful, Kev, Phil, then me. No explanation, just what's your favorite show? Dis.
I'm old school. I still like the old Batman.
Batman the Animated Series?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, Awful.
Same.
Batman the Animated Series. Kevin.
I mean, Batman the Animated Series is the GOAT, but I have to go JLU.
Justice League Unlimited. All right, Phil.
Batman is goated, so if you want my second favorite, Static Shock.
Static Shock, good pull. And for me, Batman Beyond.
Actually,
I want to change
mine.
No, I'm just kidding. Can't believe they never made a movie. But you know what? We can talk about that more tomorrow night at 5 p.m. I know Dis will be there. Kev will be there. Phil, you popping in tomorrow night?
Absolutely.
All right, Phil. Awful. I mean, you said you were going to pop in last week and you fell asleep. So I don't know what to believe. I'm not even going to ask you if you're going to be there because you're just going to lie to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. If Awful wants to be there, he'll be there. That's the kind of man he is. He shows up when he wants. Good Lord. That'll be tomorrow night, 5 p.m. We are going to simulcast on this channel and the Tooneytown TV channel, by the way, to kind of do both. Because eventually the goal is to shift that show fully over to Tooneytown TV. So
yeah.
All right. Moving on. We have got so much. Okay. Cody Rhodes with an interesting update on something we have discussed on the show recently. Recently as in like we've discussed it before on the show. It probably was like a month or two ago. But soft ground wrestling over there in Africa. Cody has hit YouTube today with Twitter with a little message for those guys. So let's listen to what the Code Man has to say.
Hello, this is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and I just wanted to send a quick message to my friends at SGW Soft Ground Wrestling Uganda. We've all been watching what you guys have been doing lately.
Who's we? Is it like him and Brandy, or is it like it's Triple H sitting down and be like, man, I love these guys. Move over, kid.
It's
I like
me.
I just wish I could tell them apart.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, wow.
I've talked to a few friends about how the experience is down there. It's incredibly impressive, and it's wonderful to see your
So wait. Sorry, I'm sorry.
God,
he just said he's talking about Mason Mansour, right?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah, because they're the only ones that have been there. I can't think of anyone else. So that's cool.
Right.
Good Lord. All right. We're going to continue.
love at SGW for pro wrestling and sports entertainment. Of course, some shout outs.
Oh, he's dropping a sports entertainment again.
Yeah.
We haven't heard those words in a while. He's
hiding in his closet.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm unleashing the poison into my own company.
He said pro wrestling and the red dot appeared on his tie, and he was like, I had sports entertainment. After 10,000 days, I'm free.
He's such a politician. He's like, just in case Stephanie or Vince ever come back, I have to say sports entertainment.
So long as Bruce Pritchard exists, Vince McMahon lives.
Yeah.
He's Bruce. Look, if Vince had turned anyone into a Horcrux, it's Bruce Pritchard.
And by the way, that's not a shot at Cody. I respect the hell out of the way he's able to politic like that.
Oh, he looks out for himself. He learned his daddy's lessons well.
Yep.
Boom Bash, Jordan, Cool Man, Pamela, One Man Army. I love everything that you guys are doing. It's not lost on me that with the world as divided as it may be, social issues, climate issues, political issues, whatever it may be, one thing that we can universally bond on is our love for pro wrestling.
Tacos.
and curing
With
racism.
that said, you guys
I got one question. Can you Ugandans reach for the brass ring? If you can't, you're fine.
I'm
Oh my
sorry.
god.
I'm still laughing at Awful's taco.
Do you think Cody Rhodes is enjoying the Acolyte?
I think he enjoyed the acolytes. I don't think.
I keep watching that show, waiting for Farouk and Bradshaw to show up and just clothesline everybody in the face.
Did you didn't catch Raw last night, right?
Oh wait, Kev, what were you saying?
Oh, well, what am I watching? Where's Ron? Where's JBL? I saw that guy and a bunch of lesbians. The hell is going on?
Yeah, HLA. Yeah, we're bringing it back. A whole pay-per-view. HLA in Uganda.
No,
HLA in space. Neckbeard
Mark.
caught me too. He goes, I heard Kamala opened to this promotion.
Marv, you didn't catch Raw last night, right?
No.
So you didn't get to see R-Truth, who went to a.
What do you mean? The host didn't watch Raw last night? I
We
thought
are
he was
talking about
supposed to be an analyst.
All right, you know what? Get your receipt in. That's good. I get it.
Oh,
You got me on that one.
Okay, so R-Truth went to a fortune teller who ended up being Alba Fire, Scarlett, who told him that he was fighting AOP, but he thought it was APA. So he he told Miz they were fighting the APA, and Miz was really confused about it.
Miz filled his pants, is what happened. What do you mean?
Miz was great last night, by the
Wait,
way.
what do you mean we're fighting the APA? My Miz voice is literally just Kermit the Frog.
You know what was hilarious was that I loved Michael Cole really brought back the Miz feud stuff last night, because when Miz came out and they were doing the rap, Michael Cole was just like, Miz is absolutely worthless right now. There's no reason for him to be here.
Good Lord. All right, moving on.
Sidetrack. Sorry, go ahead.
Proper wrestling ring.
No, they
You
don't.
need one for your story.
They wrestle on the soft ground. That's the point of them. You've killed this company, Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, we're taking it. It's an invasion.
Like AEW killer.
Send them Vince Russo.
They killed that Chinese promotion, right? So why not kill the Ugandan one too?
The whole point is that they fight on the ground, isn't it?
We're gonna take these Ugandans. We're gonna put them in a ring. And they're gonna put them on Wednesday nights.
I think okay.
Give them Apollo Crews. Do that accent again. It'll get over there.
The thought here is that these guys, like, he wants to turn them into a real company. Right?
But that's not the point. Like like, the second they become mainstream, they become a real company. They're not cool anymore.
Right, but they don't.
But Uganda.
But you know what can happen is that NXT could then sign these guys because they know how to work in a ring, and then they can get some good press out of it or something.
General Manager Kamala.
Well, that would be kind of hard. He's dead.
Who is his manager? The guy with the
Kimchi.
face mask? Yeah.
Kimchi.
Kamala isn't dead. Kamala's our vice president.
That was type 2 diabetes.
Or his was it Kamala and his man Friday? I think it was okay. Oh, continue talking about how you got to kill this company, Cody.
With that said, you guys need a proper wrestling ring. You need one for your stories and to be able to do what you do. You got to be welcomed into the wrestling business in the right way. You need a proper ring. We have found someone in Uganda who can make it for you. It's not coming over on a boat.
You know
It's
what,
not going to
Marv?
get broken. We're going to get it.
Hold on 1 second, Marv. I just got to say that your take on this is so great. It's just like, yeah, Cody, you're going to kill the gimmick.
You're killing it.
You're going to kill the gimmick.
Yeah, like oh God, I'm trying to think of like something that I could like liken it to. It's just like you know, the problem with Daredevil is that he's blind. He needs to be able to see. Then he'll be able to really be great. If he can see.
Irish Catholic superhero who's blind. It doesn't make a lick of sense.
Here's the thing. In my opinion, okay. Right now it's a meme. And Cody's saying, let's turn you guys into wrestlers. Let's make it so you could possibly get some dates. You could go work somewhere else because they can't work. You can't take somebody who only trained on mud and put them in a ring and expect them to work the next day. So he's saying, these guys, they do have talent. If you watch this stuff, there's talent there. And if you can take that and turn it, he's saying, if you want to be more than a meme, I can help you. If you don't want to be more than a meme, go ahead and fire.
I don't think that Cody Rhodes is purposely destroying this company. I don't think this is malicious in any way. I think what's happening, he's just taking, he's bringing the mainstream, which immediately kills the entire gimmick that they're doing.
Right.
Yeah, it's much better to me.
You guys are bulldozing Kev tonight. My God, Kev.
Wait. Triple H and Cody read the room. This thing has blown up to epic proportions. It is inevitable that they're going to get a ring. It's inevitable that the show itself is going to change.
Yeah.
So who better to give them a ring than the WWE? And who? Yeah, that's true. Who better than Canyon? And who better to say that the WWE is going to give you a ring than Cody? This is just Triple H swinging his little H around, going, "I'm giving the Ugandans something to go play in."
What that? But like, who is this like random ring builder in the middle of Uganda? And why is that a thing that they needed? Why couldn't you just ship them a WWE ring?
Well, because it was more fun to send someone to mine the steel to build the ring.
No, oh my God, he does get to that actually. My thing is, it is better than random podcast hosts who are grifting them and selling their T-shirts, which really made me mad when that happened.
Wait, what happened?
I can't remember who it was, but one of the podcast guys decided to team up with them, and he started selling T-shirts from his store for Soft Ground Wrestling. And he's taking 90% of that crap. And because they ditched him after like a month. But
I didn't have any product.
Right. Yeah. I would much rather see this than these grifters go in and try to take advantage of it.
I'm just saying, Soft Ground, like what are you gonna call it? Hard ring wrestling now?
Ugandan Championship Wrestling, UCW. There you go.
No, you know what? No, nobody's gonna watch Ugandan Championship Wrestling. People watch Soft Ground Wrestling. The point is, oh my God, these guys are. No, we cannot. Bill Watts. Do you want to make Bill Watts go to Uganda? I don't.
Well, folks, I'm here in Uganda, and sure are a lot of Ugandans around here.
Too bad Herb Abrams isn't around. We could send him.
Is that the Junkyard Dog? Oh no, that's not. Hey, is that the Junkyard Dog? No, it's a
lot of JYD fans here. I'm hoping to run into Tony Atlas.
They're all saying, when I walk in, they all say, "Who dat? Who dat? Who that old white man?"
Tony Atlas is there for some reason. He's actually there.
as Saba Simba.
Exactly, yeah.
That's Tony Atlas. The greatest moment of all time when Roddy Piper just completely blows that out of the water. That's not Saba Simba. That's Tony Atlas.
And here comes Saba Simba down to the ring. What is wrong with you?
Need a proper ring. We have found someone in Uganda who can make it for you. It's not coming over on a boat. It's not going to get broken. We're going to get it.
Her name is Riri Williams, and she's smarter than Tony Stark. Wait, is it coming from Wakanda? Like this vibranium ring that Cody got for them? Well, Cody is Wakanda's hero, according to that one song.
It's not coming on the boat because they don't want Blackbeard Hogan trying to steal it.
Aye, brother mateys.
Well, you know what? You know what though?
By the way, hold on. When the red and yellow pirate ship appears, it totally has the. Sorry, go ahead, Dis.
They recently did have a problem with pirates trying to steal their ring, so maybe this is what they have to do to get it there. And when they went to Australia, remember?
Oh God, what did I call him?
That's actually a good point.
What did I call him on the headlines? Blackballed the pirate.
Yeah. I commissioned a village of small children. They will work tirelessly until this ring is built.
Look, here's the thing. the last thing that the SGW guys need is to start getting involved with pro wrestling people from the United States.
Oh,
because they will use, abuse, and drop them. They will suck the life out of these guys until there's nothing left and grift them into the dirt.
Do you remember the Chinese company that was supposed to be working with AEW?
No.
Okay, I wonder why.
OWE, Oriental Wrestling Entertainment or whatever.
They were supposed to be the biggest thing on earth, and then the pandemic hit, and it was over. We don't care about them anymore.
I mean, look at the AEW New Japan. Like, all right, hold on.
Get it done, and when it gets done, send the bill to me. It is on me. My gift to you. The wrestling business has literally given me everything in my life that I could possibly dream
He's
of.
such a baby
and
face.
I would just like to give something back to you guys. Welcome you officially into this big wide world of pro wrestling. I can't wait to see what you do with it. Enjoy it.
Marv,
Don't mess up.
He's trying to go for a BET award. It looks like he's just going this way.
Well, you know, he's given so much to the community already. You know, with his
holy
baby.
Cow.
He solved racism again. He did it twice now.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. AEW
for colonization.
Producer Neckbeard, by the way, just gold in the chat.
He's just destroying in the chat, dude. It's popping me so hard.
He's doing his own show in the chat, and I love it because it's like you get double the entertainment. If they start a wrestling group in Ethiopia, Cornette can manage Trevor Murdoch there, and we can put it to the test. We can put it to the test how fast that man can run.
And then he said, what did he say? He goes, "Do you think Cody has any interracial babies in Uganda?"
This is why you gotta be here live, people. You gotta be here live.
Oh man.
Oh man. All right. John JID 999 with $2 says Bruce Pritchard is a Horcrux. A part of Vince lives. We need to figure out like 7 items that could be Vince's Horcruxes. One of which is Bruce Pritchard.
I more meant that Bruce Pritchard was Mammoth from Thundercats.
No, I got that reference too. I was just trying to make one that people might understand.
It's not my fault you're not old enough to enjoy good quality entertainment.
What if Vince is like a snake right now? Once a man, once a man, once a McMahon.
Well, the next 3 items have got to be not safe for work.
Seriously, on a slow week, on a slow week, we should decide what the 7 items of Vince his Horcrux.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
one of them is John Laurinaitis' dick. That's one.
It's his voice box.
Yes, his vocal cords. Good Lord. Mae Young's hand. There's got to be one of them. The hand that Mae Young gave birth to. Oh my God. All right. We got a couple more things. We got 2 more things to focus on here. One of them I think we can get through rather quickly. It's more of a late breaking story that we saw just before we went on the air. So we're going back to Twitter X for that one. And of course, folks, we talked about Sexy Red, hip hop sensation, arrested in New Jersey this weekend for her part in a brawl at an airport.
And still made it to Battleground.
Yeah.
I guess this is the brawl. So let's have a look and well, folks, we got quite the slobber knocker here. You can see these random guys. They're powering through airport security. That lady's got a stanchion. She got a stanchion. Oh, and she's down. She's down. She's down.
Maybe the greatest night in the history of our sport. I'm sorry.
This is wild.
Look at that
In the streets, we call this a mollywhopping at an airport. I'm just
oh, Lord.
Oh, that guy's up and he's pissed. He's up and he's pissed.
Wait, fat woman.
So how the fuck can Sexy Red fight better than Jack Perry? What's going on here?
Well, which one is she? I mean, she's not that lady. Is she the one in the hat?
Yeah,
that's not a hat.
Red.
That's her hair.
Do-rag.
Yeah.
Oh, she's the one that got the stanchion. Okay, she was ready to go.
They refer to that as a bonnet in the streets, folks.
Yeah. To be fair,
you got to learn about.
She didn't actually hit anyone, though. She didn't actually hit it.
She would have bludgeoned him with that.
Kevin Apollo, you're the only black card, bro. I said do-rag, not bonnet. You damn right.
Everything's in this video.
Oh, she's hitting somebody.
Cut that out, Marv.
She hit somebody,
and she still made it to Battleground to host. In the biz, we call that being profesh. I don't know.
She lost a shoe there too. Did you see? She lost a shoe when she took a bump.
this bunch of Crocs and ass and bonnets and just and,
Okay, how
and
funny is it?
everybody's fathers, if they happen to know who he is, they're all disappointed.
Looks like a club in Compton when the fucking lights turn on.
I would like to point out Kevin Apollo made that joke, not anybody else.
Anybody else in this
'Cause
video, anyone in this video could say I feared for my life, and it would be way more sensical than Tony Khan.
The stewardess holding the door open could say it, and she'd be better off than Tony Khan.
Yeah, this is far worse than Brawl.
Oh, the person trying to get a wheelchair out through the door.
WWE should air this footage. It'd be like, you know,
hold on, Jack. Help is on the way. You know her one phone call was to Sean, right?
Sean, that's all right, baby girl.
The heartbreak daddy is coming home for you. While I'm there, I'll stop off for a conjugal with Sonny.
We'll tell them Marines beat you up.
Yeah.
I've been here before.
That was good. That was good.
Phil, that was the funniest thing I've ever heard. That was the funniest thing I've ever heard you say, Phil. I gotta say.
I'm dying. Don't worry, darling. You just lost your smile. We'll get it back. Somebody else talk because I'm choking to death.
After we'll fake a back injury, all that twerking you're doing. It'll work, trust me.
Oh my God. That was a knee injury. Which I would believe the knee injury because she takes the tumble. Oh my God. Judge AID 999 says there's a video of Sean actually twerking with Sexy. I have seen it. I have seen it. I cannot unsee it. Donnie Soares $2 says 4 neck beards. We got a super chat just for neck beards and the show he's putting on in the chat. I love it. Well, the greatest producer that any show has ever had is AEW neck beards. Oh my God. All right. So before we close up, I guess there's one more thing to talk about, and that is Ricochet. Gave his notice. Honestly, here's my thing. Bye. You know, I'm not gonna like you're probably better off going where you're going. Like, you know, he was Ricochet was always great for like, okay, like Logan Paul needs a really good match. Like, you know, we'll put but like Ricochet always struck me as one of those I got this, bro, guys about like you know, like promos and stuff because he never could promo. He could not talk, and that was the problem. You can be a subpar wrestler and a great talker and still succeed. You cannot succeed as a great wrestler and someone who can't talk in today's modern wrestling. You can't.
That's the thing, Marv.
Unless you're so good. Chris Benoit got by being just so aggressively good in the ring. But once he won that title, he was nothing. Awful. What were you saying?
Ricochet doesn't have self-awareness. I'm sure millions of people came up to him and were just like, "You're great." And he thought he was great at everything. Promos, wrestling ability. He thought he had it all. And you just don't. And it might be a time to just look in the mirror and be like, "Hey, man, I don't have what it takes to be the main event of WrestleMania."
No,
Come on now.
Ricochet is going to do fine in AEW. His biggest issue
for a couple months, he'll do that Osprey match, and then that'll be that.
And he'll make good money, and he'll just sit home. The biggest problem with Ricochet, and if you've seen his stuff in like ROH and other places, is that Ricochet actually can cut a good heel promo. But the problem is that he can't play heel and work that style in WWE. No. It's just impossible. Now in AEW, where everybody works a face style in the ring and everybody cuts heel promos out of it, he'll do fine. He'll fit right in because that's all indie wrestlers want to do anymore. They want to cut the coolest promo out of the ring and be the coolest guy and do the coolest moves in the ring. And
you want to know who I always had such great respect for?
Oh,
sorry, Kev. What were you saying?
I was saying, look at how well it's doing for indie wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. But that's AEW too. AEW is filled with guys who want to cut heel promos and work like a face. And
when the first time Carlito turned face and he started working, I was like, "Whoa, where'd this all come from?"
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh my God, he could do this the whole time, but he didn't because he was a heel.
Right.
And that made me love Carlito even more.
How much better is he now, by the way, as a heel? Last night, that move that he did last night, where he like him and Ray were both going for the tag, and he saw Ray, so he like locked Ray's legs in with his and dragged him across the ring so he couldn't. That was brilliant. That was brilliant. He's so much better as a heel. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
I know that Phil and Apollo are going to have some things to say. About
no, before I turn it over to them, yeah, because they bloviate and talk for very long. I'm kidding. I love you guys. I will say my first thought when I heard, oh, Ricochet's leaving, my first thought was not, oh no, Ricochet. My first thought was Samantha Irvin better not be going with him.
Yes.
Because she's infinitely more valuable to the product. Phil Marks, your opinion on Ricochet and his choice to look, we all he hasn't officially signed with AEW or anything, but we all know what's about to happen.
Yeah, I rant and raved about it on PWT podcast or live show, one of the two shows I did in the last couple of days. So I keep it short and brief. I kind of agree with Dis. I think he would fit right in there, and exactly, it's just these tweeners, but I don't see Ricochet just staying, like just doing AEW exclusively. Now, as Awful would bring up or joke, well, no one in AEW is exclusive, and that's true. So, but I think Ricochet, I could see him doing like a TNA, then going to New Japan, then doing like a GCW show. Like I could see him being like a Mustafa Ali where he just kind of goes all over the place. But he will go to AEW, get a bunch of money, or maybe just Tony throws the house at him and gives him all the money in the world. But I think he'll be okay there. He's not a guy that I want to see anybody say, oh, game changer, or, oh, look, Ricochet can't draw, because no one's ever expected that from him. He's the flippy match guy. Now, if he goes to AEW, probably flounder. There's a lot of flippy match guys there, right? So that's why he stood out so well in WWE, but it was never like a world heavyweight level guy. So I get that too, but I hope Samantha Irvin doesn't leave either. Pardon me.
There's no way.
I agree with that, but I also spooled out there a conspiracy theory. I was like, this is all a work. This is the cat. Now, I don't actually think this, but I just threw it out there with an X-Files, right? And this is a work, because this is his cataclysmic event to make him come back, because no one cares about him. No one's invested in him, right? And everybody, we want to see him be pushed,
Mm-hmm.
And WWE's doing a good job of letting these, like, this contract news, like, is Becky re-signing or not? She's for sure re-signing. Is Seth re-signing or not? He's already re-signed, like
Gable, they just announced that Gable
re-signed. Gable re-signed. So is Ricochet really actually gone, or is this like his? And then look at what they're doing with Brooks Jensen in NXT. He's showing up at random indies and he's doing like Jack Perry's gimmick. Basically, they're like trying to do it but better. And so I think with Ricochet, I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't actually believe this. I think he's going to go to AEW and get millions of dollars for sure. But I'm just throwing it out there. I wouldn't be shocked if this was like the event to have him come back and be this like cool, badass, I don't know, flipper guy that they like. This is the way you reinvent Ricochet finally. Maybe he uses his real name and he comes back. Who knows? But I'll throw that theory out there, and I wouldn't be shocked by that. But yeah, my thoughts are just good luck, Ricochet. I love him. I've loved him for years and years. So
my only thing that would be that would kind of push against that is, or why I would not like to see that would be everybody has said, including our friends over at PW Insider, have all said, oh, Ricochet's leaving. The only person that said he might not be leaving has been Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Mm-hmm. And I don't want him to be right.
Yeah. That's
because it's a guess. It's a guess. He made a guess.
And that's the thing about that I really don't like about how there's so many WWE fans online right now that are trying to own the sheets, right? And say like, oh, see, Ricochet's not going. They wouldn't leave it open-ended, blah, 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 blah. PW Insider doesn't deserve that hate. They've been the only wrestling site that has had any credibility for 20 years now. And Mike Johnson,
they know.
Yeah, and it's because they double check their sources. They make sure they have more than one source. And also WWE has never worked them. WWE has worked Fightful. WWE has worked Dave Meltzer, but they've never worked PW Insider, at least to the point where it got to the website. So if Ricochet stays, it's something they came up with because PW Insider would not go to press with it if they didn't know that it was true. And with also, I guess my big question is, if it isn't work, where does it go? What do you do with Ricochet? You're not going to have him come back and beat Braun. Is Ricochet going to be the guy that takes out Braun for the first time? Like, where does he go when he comes back? This does nothing for unless he just comes back as a heel. And then
and just and uses like his real name maybe, and
right.
then
But how do you get there? How did this turn him into a heel? Why doesn't he want revenge on Braun?
Well, maybe I'm not saying like a heel, and of course this is all like fantasy mark booking, and I think he's gone. You know what I mean? And I think I think also the reason Dave's like, well, it's up in the air is because, as many of us have pointed out, he stooged Edge, he stooged Danielson and Cole, he stooges everything AEW does. And so that's why I think either Dave's trying his best to not stooge Ricochet for once, and then as we get closer to his debut, he will stooge it because he can't help himself. Or it's sort of what I said, and Ricochet's like, yeah, I'll go work for AEW, but that's not all I'm going to go do. I'm going to go do a match because TNA is looking to hire people for just per date appearances. So I could see Ricochet going, all right, I'm going to go grab some TNA money. I'll go get some New Japan money. I'll go get some GCW money. I'll go get whatever. I'll do a shot at, I'll do a match in Wembley and get that money. So I could see him doing that too. And that's also why Dave could be like, well, it's up in the air because it's not like a confirmed in stone with AEW. Otherwise, Tony or someone would have told him, you know?
Well, Dave Meltzer said that it's up in the air because Dave Shear said it wasn't. That's the only.
And shout out Dave Shear, man.
Well, and then this is the kind of And by the way, I've been trying to get Shearer on the show. We
fucking love Shear, man.
I talked to him in private. I'm trying to get him on the show. I would love to have him on the show. Meltzer only said this because either way he wins. If he's like, oh, it's up in the air. So if Ricochet leaves, he was right. If Ricochet now stays, he's right. This is Dave Meltzer reporting now. It is to put yourself in a no-lose situation with common sense guesses that, and my favorite is when he does that though, when he's still wrong.
Yeah.
Like he named, like for there was something that happened recently where he named like every person on SmackDown as somebody who might be doing something, and he still was wrong. Oh, it was Cody and Logan Paul. He named every person that might be fighting Cody for the title and was still wrong.
Yeah.
Donnie Soros says he says it's known that WWE wants all their talent to sign for TKO. So doesn't the contract jobs to run out, or do I have it wrong? I'm not sure what he means by that.
They want instead of it being a WWE contract, you're signing with TKO. So that's
okay.
The majority, the why we're getting so much contract drama is one, it's fun to play with the news cycle. They know who is and isn't most likely coming back. Listen, at the end of the day, we're talking about Ricochet, and 9 times out of 10, there's really nothing to talk about Ricochet. I personally think it's a little bit of both. I think he's gonna let the contract lapse. He'll go dick around in a TNA and a couple different spots, and then he comes back to the WWE because absence makes the heart grow fonder. Right. Listen, the one thing Vince got right with Ricochet was that he was entirely too soft to be taken seriously, and being the flippy guy, it runs its course real quick. The only person who has proven to be immune to this is RVD. Yeah. Everybody gets tired of it, and you're just another dude.
Rey Mysterio.
But even Ray's style has changed.
Yeah,
Ray's gotten more flippy now that he's healed. But we had Ray was being pretty mild there for a really extended period of time. The Ricochet, the last 3 years, WWE pumped a lot of energy into rehabilitating Ricochet's image. They stopped him from being the flippy comic book nerd, and they showed that he has a martial arts background. They had him be in situations where he kind of had to fight back, maybe talk a little shit. They worked really hard to toughen him up and give him something that resembles grit. If Vince was still in charge, I would tell you it's a no-brainer. He has no reason to stay. But this is a Hunter guy. Hunter's in charge. The only problem is you only have 2 shows and a lot of talent. So go out there, go do your thing in the indies for a little bit. People forget about you, and then when you come back, you're the brand new hot thing. And after that, now it's really time to show what you're worth, because you got that rub of being gone for a little bit, even if it's only 3 months. We saw Matt Hardy. The who else? Who else has done this? We saw it with Danielson. The who else?
Yeah, CM Punk.
Punk. It's like
extent.
this isn't that unusual for them. It's just something that doesn't happen often. And again, Ricochet is a major news item, and who would have said that even 2 weeks ago?
Yeah,
And
no
not
one.
only that,
No one.
Ricochet could easily go with the relationship with TNA right now. Ricochet could easily go to TNA and still pop up every once in a while in WWE. I mean,
Ricochet could now show up at Soft Ground Wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, once they have a ring, who cares though?
Right. You get
go
to work
Marigold.
1 day a month during the rainy season.
Ricochet, I am calling you out.
Right.
Okay, can I tell you what I think though WWE is doing with these contract things? So we're talking about like Becky and Seth and Chad Gable and Drew. I honestly think it's intentional. I think it's a tactic. I think they make sure that even Meltzer doesn't know. Like they lock it down. They've got these guys already signed. Chad Gable was signed long before he had that pay-per-view, that PLE match was announced. Okay. They let it go out there for a long period of time because then when it's announced that they re-signed, WWE wins. That's a big signing for WWE. You turn what should be an open and shut. Yeah, Becky Lynch is obviously going to re-signing too. WWE won Becky Lynch back.
Yeah.
Strip working the internet.
I think there's a bit of a power move too. I think it's totally possible that WWE could be saying to these guys, hey, if you really want to go and work for AEW, go ahead. We will let you, they're not like super intent on signing these guys 2 or 3 months before the contract's up. They're saying we can take it right up to the date. If you want to go work for AEW, go work for AEW. But look where that got everyone else. Look where it got those guys.
They know that when those people come back. Oh, sorry, Kev, go ahead.
I say, what's there to be scared of? Just put a picture of Rusev, and your case is closed.
Yeah.
Well, look, Vince was notorious for calling that bluff, for telling you go take his money, go ahead.
Yeah. But when they return, WWE also knows when they return, it's okay. Maybe it can blow up and we get a Cody situation. Obviously, that's like a rare diamond, but maybe we get the heart grows fonder. People are going, oh, Sean Spears, look, he's doing great stuff at NXT. Like now people want him back. And so there's that too. Like they understand that that sort of comes with it, right? And that's what I sort of brought up to Ant earlier with the TNA. I don't know, like if TNA is not here in 18 months, well, fuck me. But in my opinion, I'm like, that's just a territory you can let. Like, look at what Naomi did. She dipped out, went there for like 8 months, came back, and it's refreshed. People are,
Drew McIntyre.
So, So I mean, I think it's smart to have allies like that. On top of developing your own talent, having like a TNA where it's like, well, they can go there, sort of rumble up. And also WWE's leaning into the QR codes. They're leaning into like, oh, let's have just like a creepy guy with a mask standing in the background watching everyone cut promos. And so everyone on Twitter can talk about it. Just like in sports, right? When, I'm just making shit up, but like Alexander Ovechkin, his contract's up. Is he going to re-sign with the Capitals or is he going to go to Columbus? Will he bring this guy with him? We don't know. That's real sports storyline. That's where they get their drama. Sort of like, oh, is this guy going to re-sign? Is Francis Ngannou going to re-sign with the UFC with the heavyweight belt, or is he going?
News fodder.
So they'll lean into it, and then this way WWE can stay one step ahead of the dirt sheets, and then they can work it into storylines and angles, just like it sort of is in sports. And that's whoever said it, that's exactly correct. Gable was already signed. It's sort of like a Seth Rollins. I was hearing something that he's not. He has a contract ready. He's not technically signed, like it hasn't started yet. But the day he returns, a 5-year deal starts on that day. Like it's already a done deal, and WWE knows that. So if they want to go tease Tony Khan and get some more money for their contracts, I'm all here for it. If they want to go play with Tony Khan for a bit, for a year or 2 or 3, a year contract and with a year option, or 2-year contract with a year option on it.
Tony doesn't want that though. Tony wants these guys for 5-8 years.
But if that's true though, and he wants people for like 7 and 8. But if you're an edge, you can go there. And I'm not saying Ricochet's an edge, but maybe he can. All I'm saying is you can go there for 2 years with an option.
To Tony Khan, Ricochet is an edge.
Yeah.
Right, to recreate that Osprey Ricochet flippy video game match, however you felt about it at the time. I loved it, whatever, people can hate on it, but I can put over the athleticism. But like for Tony Khan to recreate that, to me, that's 7 figures at least in his brain, so he wants to do that. And yeah, if you're like a Ricochet or an Edge or a name, you can negotiate a 2-year deal with a 1-year option on there. You know what I mean? Get a quick $1 million or $2 million and then go back to WWE. The door's always going to be open. They'll always welcome Ricochet back home, as Vince would call it. Yeah. Welcome home.
By the way, guys, did you see this week? You mentioned QR codes, and now it's all I could think about. WWE is obviously doing the QR code thing with Bo Dallas and the Wyatt Six. Did you see that AEW is now doing the follow the Monet QR code for Mercedes Monet?
A buzzard Monet. It's sort of like the same thing.
Why would you do that?
Because they believe that capitalizing on a good idea is a good idea.
They're giving away money with their QR code, unlike that stupid WWE who's just pushing a storyline. They're gonna have Mercedes standing at the top of the neck, right underneath the Tron, with a big vat of money, and she's gonna call people on the phone.
Oh no!
Jesus,
it's all about the money.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Well, she's costing him a lot of Monet and not paying off any of it while she wears her earpiece for her promos. All right. Well, we gotta get out of here this week, folks. So I have got God, I wish I was gonna relax after this. I have got to now watch The Acolyte, which I know, folks, does not sound like it's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to do.
It's a hard thing to do.
I have to watch this horrible show because then at 9 and 9:30, I'm hopping on with WW Pro over at his channel. We're doing the Acolyte after party. It's going to be me, him, Valiant Renegade. Lorne is going to be there. Jonas is going to be there. I don't think Culture Casino is there this week, but we're all going to be ripping this thing to shreds. And then after that, I will be back to editing the Headlock headlines. I will finish it tonight before I sleep. It will be out first thing in the morning for all of you guys. Episode 15 dropping tomorrow. Yeah, we're going to have an Acolyte review, all that other good stuff. But I'm not the only one with YouTube channels here, folks. First, our good friend Phil Marks. I mean, his channel exploding and growing, loved by wrestling personalities the world over. Phil, tell us a little bit more about yourself and where we can find you.
You guys can check me out at Pro Wrestle Times and at Pro Wrestle Clips, both channels on YouTube. There, we're at like 3,400. We surpassed that on the Clips channel, and we surpassed 800 on the long form channel. I try to upload every single day if I can. Awesome. I go live tomorrow night, and typically every Saturday. I sort of laid out a new schedule of how I do things, but I just dropped a podcast this morning, a PWT podcast, episode 64. Make sure you check that out. I cover like Tony Khan and Alfred Konu's war that they've been going at, and I don't know, man. You can catch some of the Tooney. I'm a panelist here. I try to make it here as much as I can. You can find me on Tooney Talk TV as well. And yeah, if you guys don't mind, go and subscribe to my channels. And also, Awful's always there with me, and we're always arguing, bickering back and forth. And we watch Dynamite together.
And I'm going to be there at some point soon. I know I haven't been on in a while. We've been trying to coordinate a time to do a pre-record for a while,
and that's my bad too.
I mean, it's both of us bad. But folks, I've got the channel. Phil's got the channel, but there's another channel going on right now, a brand new channel for you all to subscribe to. Does not involve me, does not involve Phil, does not involve Kevin Apollo, does not involve Awful. It is Dis. Dis has his own YouTube channel now.
Let's go.
I'm so excited to be able to announce this on this show. Dis, talk to us about this channel.
All right. Last week on Tooney Talk TV, we were talking to Nolan, and I started talking about Lost Media, and I had a specific piece of Lost Media that I have been looking for that has not been discussed on any Lost Media site. You can go to Lost Media Wiki, you can listen to the biggest YouTubers, and it hasn't been talked about anywhere. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more tomorrow night, but it inspired me to start this Maxed Out Media. So it's MAXX''D. I named it after my son, because his gamer tag is maxed out. And so I named it after him because, he wants to do like a gaming channel. So I thought we could attach it to that and do that kind of thing. But if you want to subscribe, it's Maxed Out Media. My name is in the chat. You can just find it there. Also, it looks like, that's Phil's, but it'll be there too.
I'm looking for it.
Yeah, it's nothing big right now. I'm doing shorts about Lost Media because I think that a lot of people don't want to give a lot of time to lost media. It's kind of it's a very niche thing, but hearing these individual shorts that are like 1 minute long.
How do I find this channel?
MAXXD Out Media.
Okay.
If you search that, MAXXD.
I was putting a D. Okay, Max. Yep, I see it right here.
There it is.
And I love that you're doing it with like incorporating your son and stuff too. That's really
He's
cool.
gonna help me edit. So he's messed with shorts before, and he can do like the sound effects and that fun edit stuff. So he's gonna help me with that. And because I thought if I'm gonna do it, I know I'm not gonna make a lot of money off it, especially doing shorts right off. So at least I can get something else out of it by teaching him how to edit. He's actually been editing little like video game videos for the past couple weeks to get ready for it, or past couple days, sorry. But yeah, you can check it out there, and I might end up going to streaming. I have a few ideas about that. I thought about maybe doing like game nights, but with people from the IWC, like just more kind of like laid back, like playing and just playing like Uno and that kind of stuff, and just talking about wrestling, doing that thing. I thought that'd be fun.
100% there.
Because you see that a lot in other communities, but there's nobody really doing that in wrestling. So I thought that'd be kind of cool. So that might be something in the future, but for now, it's just going to be these shorts. Also, if you go and look up Tooney Talk Wrestling on on TikTok, my last one did really well. I can't ignore it anymore. So I'm going to start doing like 1 minute, 2 minute chunks of this podcast on there, kind of taking out the best stuff. I'm thinking about doing something about Ant hating Brock for this episode and pushing that on there. So yeah, just little things like that. But if you're interested, check it out tomorrow. Check out Tooney Talk TV tomorrow night, and we will talk more about it then.
Yes, Tooney Talk TV tomorrow night. Well, no, that's not correct. Never mind. No, Tooney Talk TV tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Simulcast here and on Tooneytown TV. And subscribe, by the way, to Tooneytown TV, guys. Join in. Daily content over there, daily content over here. I'm really pushing ahead with it. Also, I really want to get more game streams going as well. Like, I want all you guys in Fortnite. Like, I want us all to just like go around and just like take people out.
I have my John Cena skin ready whenever you are.
Let's do it.
And folks, if you want to follow Kevin Apollo, you got any shows coming up?
Let's see. July 13th, Crystal Run Galleria, Middletown, New York. The All-American Banger. After that, I think I got something in August, but I haven't locked down the date yet. And then on November 2nd, we'll be returning to the Palisades Mall for November Rain. But not
Fantastic. And folks, if you want to follow Awful Wrestling, you should really ask yourself why. No, I'm kidding. That's a line from a movie that I love that I can't think of the name of right now. But Awful, where can we find you? Where can people follow you? What do they have to do to be a part of your world, Awful?
I'll just go on Twitter and type in AEWFUL wrestling, and then you get to be a part of my world. Ugh.
Oh, good Lord. All right, folks, thank you so much for joining us again. We will be back to our normal time, 8 p.m. Next Tuesday night for Tooney Talk Wrestling, for Kevin Apollo, for Ann Evans, for Phil Marks, for AEW Disciplinary Committee, for Awful Wrestling. Oh gosh, you know what? There's one thing I forgot to do tonight, actually, before I close this out.
你好，中国，这是叫西娜，我爱更尊重中国。
Sorry, I have to get it in every.
Follow Neckbeards at AEW Neckbeard on
yes,
Twitter.
and follow. Sorry, producer Neckbeards. Please follow him at AEW Neckbeards on X. We love you. We love you. You are the backbone of this show, buddy. So we will see you guys next week at our normal time.
Sorry. I got
what?
Subscribe to us on anything that you listen to podcasts on.
Thank you.
Subscribe to this show.
Am I allowed to end the show? Am I allowed to end my show now?
We needed to plug that at the end.
You're right. I'm just giving you crap. I'm just giving you crap. I appreciate you looking out. Folks, for all of us here at Tooney Talk Wrestling, I'm Marvin the Movie Monster. Now get out of here!